Olympic Games, Paris 2024.
With Kelly Kears.
On BBC Radio 5 Live.
So here's the headlines so far today. Team GB enjoying their best day of the Games so far. Beth Potter took bronze in the women's triathlon. The first of two British golds of the day then came in the men's event.
This is amazing from Alex D. He's found energy out of nowhere and he passes the New Zealand athlete. Alex D of Great Britain is the Olympic champion in Paris 2024. Wow!
And not long after that, there was another dramatic finish, this time with Team GB's rowers in the women's quadruple sculls.
Have Britain got one last push? They're getting closer and closer and closer with 10 metres to go, with 5 metres to go. I think they've done it. Just Lauren Henry, Hannah Scott, Lola Anderson and Georgie Brayshaw. They have won Olympic gold.
We've also had a third medal in the diving.
And Great Britain have won the bronze, because that is not going to be good enough for Ukraine, I fancy. Andreas Bendelini, Syriacs, Lois Tolson, huge congratulations. Another synchronised diving medal for Great Britain.
And it was silver for Kieran Riley in the BMX freestyle.
This is an agonising weight, but he has got a smile on his face. It's going to bring him to silver. Kieran Riley, 23 years of age, wins silver for Team GP in the BMX freestyle.
Tonight, the host France will be hoping their golden boy can have a golden evening. Alistair Bruce Ball.
Yep, it's Marchand Mania Massive tonight. The 22-year-old's trying to do something no Olympian has ever managed in the pool before. Win medals in the 200 metres butterfly and breaststroke. Not only that, he's going to try and do it on the same night. Ooh la la.
And fingers crossed for Lewis Richardson in the boxing. We'll hear how he gets on this evening on what's already been a wonderful Wednesday for Team GB.
The Olympic Games, Paris 2024.
With Kelly Kears.
On BBC Radio 5 Live.
Welcome then to La Défense Arena, day 5 of the Olympic Games. Last night, success for Great Britain's men in the pool when they won the 4x200 freestyle relay. Tonight, it is all about the Frenchman Léon Marchand. We've already heard from Alistair Bruce Ball, Steve Parry and Karen Pickering are here as well. Steve, a huge night ahead for Léon Marchand. This is not just, as Ali was saying, about local interest. This is about something bigger for the sport.
Yeah, something we've literally never seen before, you know, and the audacity really of Léon Marchand to even try this double. 2 years ago I was just shaking my head. No one can do that. No one can have a go. The programme isn't favourable. You know, it would be a lot easier for him if these events were on different nights, but they're not. They're on the same night, and he's got to deal with it. And those events are at the top of their game. Christophe Milak, who he's going against on the 200 metres butterfly, he is recognised as the greatest butterfly swimmer of all time. And he's not like in Marchand wandering all over his events. He's got it in for him tonight, and then if that's not enough, he's got to go and back it up with the 200 breast 2 hours later.
And in terms of British interest, Karen, what are the chances for Team GB this evening?
Well, we've got two going through in the 200 butterfly. So we've got Laura Stevens, who made it through. It wasn't a great swim from her this morning to get through in the top 16. There was only 19 women entered in that event, which is such a small number. So she's really going to have to shake things up to get through in the top 8. But Kiana McInnes, I thought she looked good. 2:08 from her, just outside her best time. That was a nice swim. But she's got the Olympic champion going in that, as well as Summer McIntosh starting her charge on the 200 metres butterfly. So it's going to be a tough call for her in that. And Ollie Morgan made it back in the 200 backstroke, so we'll see him going in that semi-final as well. So that should be good.
Really big night of swimming still to come. We'll also be at the boxing tonight. Lewis Richardson is trying to keep Great Britain's boxing chances alive. He's fighting in the men's 71 kilograms bout, about 10 to 8 UK time. So we'll keep you across that with Conor McNamara and Steve Bunce. And of course, we'll recap a great day of medals for Team GB across the evening. First though, the men's gymnastics all-round final is into the last rotation. We can head over to our team at the Bercy Arena. Lewis Smith with Eleanor Oldroyd.
Hello, Kelly. Yes, actually we're running a little bit late. We're in the final stages of the penultimate rotation at the moment, but let's bring you some live gymnastics, shall we, on a Wednesday night. What could be better than watching Oka Shinosuke, who is the young Japanese gymnast who has just really looked on such fine form in this competition. We were expecting a lot, weren't we, from his teammate Hashimoto Daiki, who was the defending champion in the all-around, also high bar Olympic champion as well from Tokyo 3 years ago. He was just 19 years of age, and everyone thought he is the successor to the great Kohei Uchimura. But how impressed have you been watching this guy, Oka Shinosuke?
I mean, he's just been exquisite to watch. It really is beautiful gymnastics that he's doing. Not only that, it's some of the hardest gymnastics that we've seen, and it's been very consistent. I mean, he's matching his qualification that he did a couple of days ago, like for like. So he's really not just looking on form, but it's that consistency as well.
Yeah, I mean, to be consistent over all 6 apparatus is the key to becoming the all-around champion, and that's what he's doing. But we've also seen the Chinese Xiao Ruteng and Zhang Boheng, who have both had little wobbles at different stages, but they are putting it together as we go on through the competition. So Xiao currently leading, Zhang is second, and we've been also keeping a very close eye on the 2 Ukrainian athletes, Ilya Kovtun, who was a silver medalist back at the last Olympic Games, and Oleg Vanayev as well. So, you know, I think this is going to be a very interesting final rotation when we get to it, Lewis, isn't there?
It is, yeah.
Because, you know, the Brits are not completely out of it, but at the moment it looks like a 3-way battle between China, Japan and Ukraine.
Yeah, I mean, we're not sure what's been shown or what's been heard back home, but Jake did a clean P-bars routine, so he'll be happy with that, scoring 14.3. But Joe Frazier, the young Birmingham lad, scored a massive 14.9 on parallel bars, so that's definitely kept in the race for hopefully a top 5 finish.
For them coming into this competition, you know, when you're coming in at 5th and 6th, there's going to need people above you to mess up at various stages, but for you to do the very best that you can. And they've not dropped very much at all, have they, if anything, really, Jake and Joe, over the course of the last hour or so?
No, I mean, Joe's actually up nearly a whole mark from his qualification score, and Jake is only 0.2 below his qualification score. So those guys are kind of, you know, sitting around where they kind of need to be. They've replicated what they've done in the qualifying, and they should be very happy and comfortable moving around into their last apparatus.
So we're waiting for the scores from Oka Shinosuke. 15.1, so that is a very big score on parallel bars, a huge score which puts him into the lead in the competition, and just getting a final score on pommel horse as well in that rotation. So this is how we are standing as we go into the final stages of this competition. Oka Shinosuke is in the gold medal position, with Xiao Ruteng of China just behind him, and then Zhang Boheng, also of China, in the bronze medal position. Ilya Kovtun is 4th, but Joe Fraser 5th, Jake Jarman 6th, and the high bar, the horizontal bar. We've seen some falls, haven't we? We've seen some jeopardy on this in this competition so far.
Yeah, we have. It's not been very kind to some of the athletes. But, you know, the name of the game, I've said it numerous times so far throughout this commentary, is you just need to do clean routines. And as we've seen, you know, with Joe in 5th and Jake in 6th, if you do your routines clean, the judges will look after you. And that's what we're seeing. But we are finishing on bar. You know, we're not renowned for the biggest bar scores. I mean, Joe has got a good difficulty routine, but, you know, with Oleg Vanayev finishing on floor, I think it'll be a close battle between those 3 on where they end up.
So looking at those top 8 gymnasts, and as we said, Japan, China, GB and Ukraine occupying those top 8 spots. So Japan, China, Ukraine, then the 2 British athletes, Joe Fraser, Jake Jarman, then Oleg Vanayev and Hashimoto Daiki in 8th spot. So really we're going to try and keep our eyes on 2 different pieces of apparatus, aren't we? Because we're going to watch the horizontal bar, which is where the British and the Chinese and Japanese gymnasts are, and in the meantime, finishing up on for the Ukrainians, they will be on floor. Yeah. So that's fine. So we can look ahead of ourselves on floor, and we can look over to the left on horizontal bar. And we've also got a television screen as well, to help us.
I mean, this is exciting stuff. Who is going to be the Olympic all-round champion it's going to be nail biting close, and I wouldn't want to call it at this point.
So to become the all-around champion, is that still perceived as a bit of the gold, the blue ribbon event? To get that gold.
It's almost like winning the 100-metre sprint. It's kind of the bragging rights.
Except it takes 2.5 hours.
Except it takes 2.5 hours. But to call yourself the best all-around male gymnast in the world, it's a kind of a
it's very kind of like the undefeated heavyweight champion, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, exactly that. So there's all to play for, and bragging rights will be on the line for the next 4 years, depending on who's crowned here today.
We were talking about actually how often it's happened. I mean, British gymnastics, the story of British gymnastics, I mean, really, in some ways, in recent times, restarted in Beijing in 2008 when you won the first medal for a British gymnast in a century. Incredible to think that we're in this stage now where we've got gymnasts in the all-around finals. We're finishing fourth, off the podium, but we have been on the podium in team finals. So to have this strength and depth, I mean, you was the start of that medal run.
Yeah, Beth Tweddle was always knocking on the door of an Olympic and World Championship medals, and then that Beijing medal for me was really big. It kind of toppled the first domino, and then obviously we picked up quite a few in London with Beth Tweddles on the A-bars, team event, Max on pommels, me on pommels, and then it just went on from strength to strength from Rio and Tokyo. So it's been quite an incredible last few Olympic cycles, and it's so good to see that we are still considered to be, one of the best teams in the world, and it's nice to be able to fight and push these teams all the way up onto the podium.
We are at the top table from a British point of view in gymnastics these days, in world gymnastics. Kelly, come back to us in a couple of minutes because we will bring you the climax of this men's all-around final in the next few minutes.
Eleanor, back with you, as you say, very shortly with you and with Lewis, but Nadal Alcaraz still on court at Roland Garros, and watching that one for us, it's Lee James. It's been a busy day for Alcaraz, hasn't it, Lee?
Yes, it has, and he's come through in the singles earlier on today, but it could be in a real battle here, Kelly, alongside Rafa Nadal, as you say, on court Philippe Chatrier. Alcaraz, a winner earlier on to go into the quarterfinals of the men's singles, now paired up once again with Rafa Nadal. They're facing a very experienced US pairing, though, of Austin Krajicek and Rajiv Ram. Both of them have been Grand Slam doubles winners. They are the fourth seeds here, and Rafa Nadal's serve was broken in the very first game of this match. The Americans have been looking strong on serve, but Carlos Alcaraz now also dropping his serve. So the Americans are leading 5-2 in this opening set. Packed court Philippe Chatrier, of course, this pairing attracting all the attention here in the tennis, but they've got some work to do in this first set.
And with 5 medals for Team GB so far today, it's been a good day for Team GB at the tennis as well.
Yes, it has. Just a short while ago, over on court number 6, just behind this main one here, it is a success for Heather Watson and Katie Bolter. They've gone through today. They've beaten the Brazilian pairing of Beatrix Haddad-Maia and Luísa Stefani. It was a really raucous Brazilian crowd over on that court they had to contend with as well, but they went through in straight sets, 6-3, 6-4. They'll go into the quarterfinals, and I think they've just actually found out their opponents. It will be the Italian pair of Sara Errani and Jasmine Paolini. Paolini, of course, having such a good run here to reach the final of the French Open just a short while ago, Wimbledon finalist as well, and they have gone through in the last few moments to face the British pair after beating Caroline Garcia and Diane Parry, the French pairing.
And in a record-breaking career for Novak Djokovic, he still doesn't have that gold medal. Is he still on course?
Yes, he is. He's gone through to the quarterfinals. Yes, this is the one he really craves. He's yet to win a tournament this year, of course, losing in the Wimbledon final recently to Carlos Alcaraz. But I think if you'd asked him just one possible title that he could win, then it would be this Olympic one, because that's what he really wants. Dominik Kopfler of Germany was his opponent today, 7-5, 6-3. He went through. So Djokovic on course in the singles, Carlos Alcaraz on course in the singles, Iga Swiatek on course as well, another winner today, just a short while ago. But what about this opening set with Nadal and Alcaraz now battling to stay in the set? It's Rajiv Ram, the 6-time Grand Slam doubles champion, who's serving at 30-15. His serve has been so strong at the moment. 5-2 the American pair lead then in this opening set, and it is Rajiv Ram then at this near end on court. Philippe Chatrier in the white baseball cap serving with Carlos Alcaraz looking to receive. Just a couple of points potentially away from this first set for the American fourth seeds. I mentioned how experienced they are when it comes to doubles. Of course, Nadal and Alcaraz in singles, so dominant, but really up against it here. The return from Alcaraz, the volley from Ram is just long. And they're still 2 points away from this opening set, this American pair. Rajiv Ram serving, a six-time doubles champion. Austin Krajicek, his 34-year-old playing partner for the US team. Grand Slam doubles champion as well here at the French Open. But it's that return from Nadal that just finds the court, just bounces before the baseline, and the opportunity opening up for the Spanish pair then. 30-40 now, the Americans serving, and a breakpoint opportunity. A couple of breaks down though in this opening set, Nadal and Alcaraz. So there'll still be work to do, but can they get one of these breaks back then in this quarter-final we're watching here at the Paris Olympics on court Philippe Chatrier. Packed court as Alcaraz returns. Volley from Ram, in at the net is Krajicek. Nadal doing the work from the back of the court, looking for the passing shot, but he's been made to stretch. Good work from Krajicek, the fist pump, and that break point is saved. The US flag sweatband on the arm of Krajicek, and that volley. There was nothing that Rafa Nadal, a 14-time French Open champion, of course, on this court, there's nothing he could do about that. Deuce, and the Americans leading 5-2 in this quarter-final. Ram serves to Nadal, but just wide. And Nadal will get a look at a second serve here. This pairing, of course, attracting all the attention. I'm just looking around the crowd now. So many Spanish flags. Very hot under the roof on court Philippe Chatrier. Some of those fans in the crowd with those flags, getting ready to see if their pairing of Nadal and Alcaraz can get themselves out of trouble in this first set. As Ram now serves, the return from Nadal in towards the service line. Both the American pair in towards the net as Alcaraz now with the forehand, but it's met by the volley of Ram, and Alcaraz is forced wide. There was nothing they could do. It was like an American wall built in front of the net. A little bit of frustration from Carlos Alcaraz, and it is set point to the American pair. An opportunity then to take this first set. They're getting support in the crowd. I can see the Bryan brothers are here. This would be some result if they were to knock out Nadal and Alcaraz. Let's just watch this point then, Kelly, and see if they can serve it out. Set point, Alcaraz on the stretch with the return. It is the forehand from Ram, and Alcaraz with the net court goes wide. So the first set to the US team, Kelly.
Lee, thank you very much, and Lee James will keep us up to date with everything that's happening at Roland Garros, but we are going to head back to the Bercy Arena and rejoin Lewis Smith and Eleanor Oldroyd for the latest in the men's gymnastics.
And the final rotation is now underway here, Kelly, and we've just seen Joe Fraser of Great Britain putting down a routine which he was so thrilled with when he stuck the landing. Lewis, he just had a big smile on his face. Joe Fraser, talk us through it.
I'll tell you what, Ellie, that was an incredible routine. It was packed with difficulty. Double straight full turn over the bar to catch again in the tuck position. It is straight Kachev, straddle Kachev, pike Kachev. That was a delicious routine. And he pumped the sky, he hugged the coach, his grins from ear to ear. He was very happy with that. And now, we've settled back down, ready for the young Jake Jarman to have his go at glory on the high bar.
Waiting for the scores for Joe Fraser, who disappointed not to make the individual apparatus finals, but he has done himself proud in this all-around final. And 14.266 for Joe Fraser. Thumbs up. gives himself a little round of applause and a little hug from his coach as well.
He'll be over the moon with that. I mean, perfect competition, clean routines, and well done, Joe.
Yeah, we've seen moments of drama on the horizontal bar already in this all-around final. We've seen some falls. We've seen a broken handguard as well from the Canadian Felix Dolce. But we're now going to watch Jake Jarman.
Come on, Jake.
On the horizontal bar. Commentated on by his hero, Lewis Smith. Come on, Jake.
So he's up on the bar. Starts in the undergrip. The squat dislow with a half turn. Hits handstand. That's exactly what the judges are looking for. Straight Kachev over the bar. He catches his release. Big wind up. Another straddle Kachev over the bar. He's swinging good here. Given nothing for the judges to take away. The in-bar squat dislow. There's the inverted giants. Great extension. Hops to the underbar. Stoops in. Top turn. He's now in the backward giant grip. In-bar complete with the stolder. Winds up for a big dismount. Come on, Jake. He's up. Half turn. Double straight. Yes, Jake!
What a routine by Jake Jarman. He is the future of British gymnastics.
And you can see why. I mean, well done, GB guys. You know, it's such youth in the team, but to come out here in the all-round final and be in the top team with the Chinese and the Japanese and to perform 6 out of 6 routines for both of them, I mean, that is an achievement in itself. And regardless of where they finished in the rest of this competition, you know, they can hold their head up high, and that was incredible to watch. Well done.
And it must give them so much confidence, as you say, so much experience to be going around in this top group with the Chinese, the Japanese gymnasts, who all seem to get on very well. They all kind of congratulate each other at the end of each routine. And I mean, you went over when we got here. There were some of the Japanese team who won gold medal in the team event sitting over in the stand over to our right, and just a few hugs and said hello. It's nice, isn't it, to have those kind of relationships that are presumably built at a place like this, on a competition like this.
Yeah, I mean, I think all gymnasts are aware how hard the sport is. You know, so when we come to these competitions, we're aware that, you know, you risk injury every day and ups and downs and, you know, the tribulations of sport. And for everyone to kind of be here and make it to your pinnacle, which is your Olympic Games, everyone's very supportive of each other. It's not like the professional boxing scene where we're name calling. It's it's very
absolutely no trash
supportive.
Talking in gymnastics.
No.
Really?
Maybe behind some closed doors, but no, it's a really good environment to be a part of in terms of this competitive scene. And you see Jake there just waving to the camera, awaiting that score. 13.333. Well done, Jake Jarman.
Yeah, we'll see him again in the vault and the floor finals at the weekend and early part of next week. But little smile on his face. He's just got that little goatee beard and a mop of dark hair. He's only 5'1", 5'2".
Yeah, he's
the same height as me, actually.
he's on the firecracker side. He's very, very short and powerful and energetic. Yeah.
So, Xiao Ruteng is one of the 2 Chinese gymnasts who have really been so strong in this contest and competing for the medals. Let's watch him doing his high bar routine.
Yeah, he starts with the in-bar full turn, squat half into immediate straight Kachevs, so that builds the difficulty, something the judges are really looking for. Straddle Kachev, connected into the pike Kachev, swinging well. As he slows down for the Czech giants. Quite an old school move that. You don't usually see that in modern gymnastics. Bringing a bit of old school back. We like it. But he's swinging well here. Winding up for the dismount. Big double twist and double straight. Tiny step. And he'll be very happy with the way that routine's gone. He's had an absolutely fantastic competition. And I think we might see a roster change here for the podium spot in the all-around final. Well done.
He was 4th behind his teammate Zhang Boheng, who was in first place in qualifying, but it was all so close, wasn't it, between 4th and 7th in qualifying, at just less than a mark in between them all after the qualifying event. But that was a really, really solid routine by him. In the meantime, on the floor, we have seen Ilya Kovtun completing his competition with a score of 86.165. So he is in gold medal position with Joe Fraser currently second and Jake Jarman in third place. But they will be overtaken pretty soon, you'd think, by the Chinese and Japanese gymnasts and potentially the other Ukrainian, Oleg Vanayev.
Yeah, I think it's... I mean, I called this before the rotation started, Ellie, that there's a good chance we'll see Kovtun in the medal podium position. I mean, I'm going to say silver medal.
Silver medalist from the World Championships in last year, so he is, he's in that form. What is interesting is that Hashimoto, as you said, was the reigning world and Olympic all-around champion, has had a bit of a shocker, actually. This is his specialist piece, though, and we'll see him on that next up, actually, on the high bar. But he's just not looked himself, has he, really? You may remember him, actually, from Tokyo, because he just had this kind of big flop of dark hair and always a smile on the face, but not many smiles today.
Yeah, you get the feel as an individual competitor, he hasn't quite been himself. I mean, he was able to hold his own with the help of the team and get that gold for the team event. But as an individual gymnast, he's just not quite been firing on all cylinders, has he?
Zhao Roteng, 14.366. So that is a tenth above Joe Fraser, puts him to the top of the medal standings, in gold medal position at the moment, with Ilya Kovtun in silver. Joe Fraser drops down to third. Jake Jarman down to fourth and out of the medals. But again, this is great experience for the young British gymnast. So, Hashimoto Daiki on his specialist apparatus, the high bar, just a little look to the side before he prepares to take his place on the apparatus.
Let's see what you've got, Daiki Hashimoto. Last piece. Let's go. So he's on the bar. Back up rise into the forward long swing position. Inward bar, half turn. Big looking, which is a straight catch with the full turn. And he catches that no problem. Winds up. Big straight Cassina, doubles back somersault with a full turn over the bar to catch. And the same again in the tug position. Well, he's certainly turning it up for the last piece of apparatus. Big straight catch, another release and catch over the bar. This is packed with difficulty. And it's been clean throughout. Squat dislow, tiny bit of strength used. But he's back into the back giants. Stolder over the bar. A hop full turn. He's winding up. This is just his dismount left. Double twisting, double straight. Few little wobble hops at the end. But he finishes off his competition, which has otherwise been filled with mistakes and steps and a few falls. And I think for him to finish off in that routine, it will be... I'd say it'd be finishing on a nicer note for him.
Yeah, sense of relief to have got that done and out of the way. It was absolutely packed, wasn't it, that routine? Yeah, and he just, he's one of the best. And I think everybody listening is probably learning a little bit about gymnastics all the time. I love the fact that the different names that you give to different skills, and the Kachev, that's actually when you catch the bar. But it's release and catch.
Yeah, it's a release and catch. A Kachev is when you actually rotate in opposite direction to the way that you're doing a long swing. So he's doing a backwards long swing, but he's able to rotate forward over the bar, release and catch the bar again. And he did that with a full turn, which is called a Luking, named after Nastia Luking's father, Olympic all-round female champion.
And because every day is a school day for us. So the key things that the judges look out for here, I mean, the speed of the swing, the catch and release elements as well. What are the most difficult things to do?
Yeah, well, his double straight back somersault over the bar with a full turn is one of the biggest release and catches that you can do. And it's one of those special requirements. So the judges are looking for you to do one of those release and catch skills. And I think he just did 4 or 5 of them. So he ticked that box. No problem whatsoever.
Looks like he's going to be handing over the mantle of the top Japanese gymnast in the all-around. to his younger teammate, Oka Shinosuke. But he's not quite ready to give up yet. I mean, he's only 22 years old, Hashimoto. That's the extraordinary thing. He had a lot of injuries. He had a lot of back pain last year. He's actually known, his nickname is Mr. Infinite Stamina. And ironically, that's something that he hasn't really seemed to have, actually, in this competition so far.
Yeah, it's hard.
He's kind of run out of gas a bit.
Yeah, when you do so well at a young age, there's that expectation and pressure. You know, his gymnastics is still evolving and changing, so his body is still getting used to the demand of doing all these different apparatus and changing the routines. But he'll start to settle in. I mean, you would say that he's in the peak of his career at 22, 23 years old. So,
14.400.
So he is up. He's up from his qualifying score of, I think it was 13.7.
Which meant he hasn't made the final, has he? The bar final, I don't think.
No, he's not made bar final.
Which is absolutely shocking, because again, that was he's Olympic champion on that as well. So let's see the slightly younger pretender, Oka Shinosuke, in the white, black and rising sun decorated leotard.
Representing Japan.
Slightly curlier floppy fringe than his teammate.
Yeah.
Oka Shinosuke.
Big moment for him. If he can do this routine, then I don't want to say it, so let's just wait and see how he does. He's on the bar.
Should say that Joe Fraser still in bronze medal position at the moment.
He's changed his grip.
But this could change very soon.
Forward long swing. The squat dislow, full turn. Just needs to stay clean, stay on the bar. Squat, half turn. Into the backward giants, he's winding up. Big double back full turn, and he catches on his fingertips, but he does catch. Come on. Big straight catch up over the bar. He's building that difficulty. Straddle Kachev. He comes back in for the Czech giant, again touching on that bit of old school. We don't usually see that anymore. He's swinging well, giving the judges a very hard time to take any big deductions. But he winds up for his dismount, double twist and double straight, slight hop. And I think it's safe to say that is a medal-winning performance, but what medal, we don't quite know just yet. But that was a fantastic routine.
Yes, he is really... He's just slightly shorter, isn't he, than his teammate, but such upper body strength. And, yeah, big high fives for his teammates, for his coaches, and also the relief, because this was the apparatus that Japan won the team gold on a couple of days ago, where China had a bit of a nightmare. They had a couple of falls, didn't they, from this apparatus, and that is what let Japan in to take the gold medal. And they've gone clean, both the Japanese gymnasts, which is the crucial thing. That is the first requirement. But what will be the score? Will it put him to the top of the leaderboard? We're also watching Oleg Vanayev on floor currently as well. So the shakedown of the medals, we will know that pretty soon. Still one more gymnast to come, Zhang Boheng on the horizontal bar for China. But the medals to be decided in the next few minutes. The Czech giant, by the way, just describe to people what that is.
Oh, that's a hard one to describe, but
it's kind of in pipe position, isn't it?
You kind of my best, yeah.
You kind of go over the bar with your bum sticking out a bit, is that right?
Kind of, yeah. I mean, I don't know how else.
That's not the technical description,
that's
obviously.
As technical as you can get, and trying to paint a picture for everyone back home, yeah. Swinging around the bar backwards, you stoop your feet through the bar so you look like you're sitting on it. And then your feet go over your head and you're swinging around almost like you're hanging from a tree branch.
14.5 puts Oka Shinosuke into gold medal position. So Shao Ruteng of China drops into silver medal. Ilya Kovtun of Ukraine into the bronze medal position. Joe Fraser goes down to fourth. But he's had a great competition. He can have no complaints because he's done himself proud. He's improved on his qualifying scores. But it was always going to be this battle, wasn't it, between the powerhouses of China and Japan and Ilya Kovtun as well.
This is how close it's going to be. So
Oleg Vanayev, we're waiting for his scores as well on the floor. But in the meantime, final routine of the final of the all-around is Zhang Boheng of China.
it's worth noting, he qualified 1.7 marks ahead of second place, and he's currently 1.3 marks below what he scored in qualifying. So this, if he goes through clean, will be very close. And he starts with a squat full turn. Beautiful squat full turn to handstand. Again with the squat half, banging handstand, no deductions. He's very close with the tuck Coleman though. The judges will take a little bit for that. Big release coming up, straight Casina, double back somersault over the bar with full turn. Catches no problem there. Straight catch on his fingertips. This is very fingertips. Straddle Kachev. He's in the backward giant, he's slowing down. Utilising the check giants again. Very big moment and he fights. He almost goes the wrong way on the high bar. He has to arch his back to save it. Oh, and big dismount, double twist and double straight, and he sticks it, and he has just made this a very, very close competition. He pumps the air. He's happy with that. He fought to stay on the bar. He almost was bent in half backwards the wrong way, but he managed to stay on, and he is pointing to the crowd and he's kissing his hands, and he thinks he's done enough to be up there with a chance.
Plenty of Chinese flags flying around the Bercy Arena, but everybody is just so invested, so gripped by this, whoever they're supporting. They are just loving this display of Olympic gymnastics. So how is this going to work out? Oleg Vernaev's score, 13.933, doesn't take him into the medal position. So at the moment, Oka Shinosuke in the gold medal for Japan, Xiao Roteng of China in silver, and Ilya Kovtun of Ukraine in third place, with Joe Fraser, currently of Great Britain, in fourth place. So we are now waiting for the final score of this all-around competition, which will decide the destination of the medals here in the Bercy Arena.
Should we give all of our finalists a huge
Oh, goodness me. Just a couple of little mistakes, as you say there. The old Czech giant coming out. I mean, things can go out of fashion and things come back into fashion. It's what I'm relying on all the time.
Giants, so a little bit like
Czech
flared
giants.
jeans.
They're the flared jeans of the gymnastics arena. Just a little bit of heartbeat effects. It's like Strictly Come Dancing. We've talked about Strictly a lot. The tension is there, right, waiting for the scores. He's looking nervous.
How many media and camera are surrounding them? This must be such an intense weight. Because his routine was on the edge and he was fighting to stay on, this is really down to what the judges do. And will it be gold? Will it be silver? Will it be bronze? It will be one of those.
Hashimoto gives them a little handshake.
This is intense
The photographers
stuff.
are following.
The crowd are clapping. They're eager to see what the score's going to be. The heartbeat
The
music
tension's
is
terrible.
still going.
So the judge is just taking a good long look. You said you thought there might be some deductions.
14.6.
Oh, it's not good enough for gold. It is good enough for silver for Zhang Boheng, and it means that Oka Shinosuke of Japan is the new king of the all-around gymnastics at Paris 2024. 3 years ago, it was his teammate Hashimoto, but Oka is the gold medalist, is the Olympic champion, and he and his teammate run around and the cameras follow him. So gold for Japan for Oka Shinosuke, silver for Zhang Boheng of China, and Xiao Roteng of China takes the bronze medal, with Ilya Kovtun of Ukraine in fourth, Joe Fraser of Great Britain in fifth place. Well done to him.
Yeah.
So much credit to be taken by Joe Fraser. So 85.532 was just over a mark behind the gold. It has been, it's just been fascinating, hasn't it, really, the whole day here in the Bercy Arena.
It's been another special day of gymnastics. It's amazing to see Japan, the domination of what is considered beautiful gymnastics to watch. They've been so consistent. And then to see, the British guys, Joe in fifth and Jake Jarman in seventh, I think, they can hold their head up high. They came here, they've done their job, and it's been an absolute pleasure to watch them go through. But that was an all-round final for the ages. That was brilliant to watch. and I'm pumped for what happens next.
Thank you very much indeed, Lewis. It's an absolute pleasure as always to learn from you and to enjoy and have some laughs with you as well here in the Bercy Arena. So tomorrow, Kelly, we will be back for the women's all around. And guess who we'll be watching? Guess who everyone's going to be watching? Guess who the stars are turning out to see? Apart from Lewis, of course. Simone Biles will be back in the Bercy Arena tomorrow evening.
Thank you very much to Eleanor Aldroyd and to Lewis Smith. Absolutely loving listening to those two covering the gymnastics. And they will be back with us, as Ellie says, tomorrow as well. That's still to come. A huge night at the pool where we could see something we have never seen before. And it could be done by a local athlete. Léon Marchand of France is going in the men's 200 metres fly and the 200 metres breaststroke. No athlete, no swimmer in Olympic history has been on the podium in both of those events at the same Olympics. He's going for gold in them both. Just after 7:30 for the butterfly, just after 9:30 for the breaststroke. And this evening's action is top and tailed by the women's 100 metres freestyle and the men's 100 metres freestyle. It's going to be a fantastic night. There have already been lots of medals won today. One person hoping to keep GB's boxing medals alive is Lewis Richardson. Conor McNamara and Steve Bunt are going to be watching as Lewis gets underway in the 71 kilogram category in the next 40 minutes or so. It's Richardson's first fight. He had a bye in the first round, Conor, so he's got it all to do.
He's got it all to do, not just the pressure for himself and what he wants to achieve, but representing Team GB, who are struggling here in the boxing hall in North Paris, close to Charles de Gaulle Airport. Earlier on today, Chantal Reid, the 26-year-old from Derby, was beaten by her Moroccan opponent in the women's 75 kilogram category. It makes it 5 Team GB boxers out of 5 that have been beaten, and beaten in their opening bout here in Paris. The last time the Team GB boxers all went home after one bout was at the 1996 Olympics, and only 2 boxers travelled in the team back then. So this, Bunsey, is pressure on Lewis Richardson from Colchester to keep the Union Jack flying, to bring the boxing when it goes to Roland Garros for the finals.
Yeah, I've been having awful flashbacks, in fact, for the last 2 or 3 days to Atlanta, because that was a dreadful experience. And David Burke and Folo Okasola going out in their first fights. Lewis Richardson, let me tell you this. You know that expression, he's the man I want in the trenches with me? Well, if you ask me, Bunsen, if we've lost 5 and we've got 1 guy left, who do you want that guy to be? I swear to you, it wouldn't have been Delicious Ori, it would have been Lewis Richardson. His backstory, his struggle to get here, having so savagely been denied a place going out to Tokyo. He's the man I want next to me in that trench. He's the man I want next to me who's fighting for pride. We heard it. Cindy and Ngamba talking earlier on, talking about the team, talking about the GB boxers, but she still is part of the refugee team, and it will forever say refugee when she wins the gold medal. So we need Lewis Richardson to deliver. Not that the others haven't delivered, by the way. 5 have crashed out, 5 on split decisions, 4
Very
of them,
tough draws.
4 of them 3-2, and 3 of them against the number 1 in the world, for God's sake.
Yeah, just for listeners who mightn't have been tuning to 5 Live earlier on, Team GB does lay a big claim to Cindy Ngamba, and she did win today. She represents the refugee team, but she is trained with Team GB. She was hoping to be part of Team GB. It's all to do with her passport, born in Cameroon, but she is here representing the refugee team. She was actually the flag bearer for them, and she's through to a quarter-final against the local favourite, Davina Michel of France. But that is some success for the Team GB coaches who have helped her. But in terms of the actual Team GB, the 3rd most successful boxing team in Olympic history, only the US and Cuba have won more medals. The pressure is on for Lewis Richardson from Colchester. Can he get through to the finals? And we're going to find out inside the next half hour or so.
Yeah, and I'm glad you both mentioned Cindy Ngamba as well. I heard Bunsey talking about her earlier on today. It's the most incredible story. Bolton-based now, having moved there age 11 from Cameroon. And if you didn't catch Bunsey talking about her, she represents the refugee Olympic team at the moment. If you didn't catch Bunsey talking about her earlier, then do go and look up her story, because it is an incredible one. We can, though, bring in a boxing Olympic gold medalist now. Galal Yafai won gold for Britain at Tokyo. Galal, thanks so much for talking to us this evening. I think you'll have just caught the end of Conor and Bunsey talking about how Team GB haven't got there in terms of this Olympic Games, but for really varied reasons. Are you surprised at how things have gone for them so far?
Yeah, definitely. You think of Team GB and GB Boxing, and we're the powerhouses. Well, we're up there, like you said. We're all-time third. So yeah, we're normally powerhouses. We're normally getting medals. But we just ain't had the rubber the green in this tournament, have we?
It's been really difficult. I mean, one really contentious decision, and then as Bunsey and Connor were saying, there have been a couple of 50-50s that maybe haven't gone Team GB's way, but the draw was so tough right from the beginning.
Yeah, definitely, and it's the Olympics, so you find the best of the best, but like I said earlier, we haven't had the rubber the green with the decisions. The judging has been a bit off, in my opinion, and in many other people's opinions. There we had the rubber the green. I'm hoping Lewis can put it right tonight.
So yeah, talk to me about Lewis Richardson's chances then. What do you think they are?
Yeah, of course, Lewis is a great fighter. He, like Steve said earlier, had a bit of had a tough time not qualifying for Tokyo 3 years ago. He actually caught up against Kizniak, the Ukrainian who was the Olympic silver medalist. But he's the most experienced. Like Bunchy said, you'd want him if you were to pick a fighter, and hopefully he can deliver.
So he's had to lose a lot of weight for this category as well. How much? What effect does that have, Galal?
I think it's worked out for him. I know the weight's changed. He didn't know what he wanted to do. There's a few other guys that were ahead of him in the team, and he just made the decision to go down a weight, which only he knew if he could make it. He made the weight, and he's looking brilliant at it. So hopefully it can pay off tonight.
Galal, let me ask you this: it's Bunty. It's good to speak to you, pal.
You're right.
Yeah, good as well. Actually, I'm like you. I'm looking at really good fighters losing 3-2s. Have you seen how tight they've been? They've all been tight, but I don't know if you saw the Rosie one. Galal, it's the worst decision I've ever seen in the flesh. Yeah,
Steve, you're right. I know people were screaming about DJ's how delicious his decision. I thought Rosie's was the worst one in my opinion.
Yeah.
Especially with the point off in the last round. But yeah, like I said earlier, we haven't had the rubber the green here. We had it in Tokyo, not been in Paris. For whatever reasons, I don't know.
And early on, I was going to go down and chase him, the little Filipino, Carlo Palam, but I think they told him that someone who knows Galal Yafai's coming for you, and he jumped in a taxi. He didn't want to be anywhere near anybody that had even met you after you smashed him to bits in the final, you big bully in Tokyo.
Now we're mates now, Steve. Hopefully he goes on and does well. It makes me look a little bit better.
Listen, nothing can make you look a little bit better, my friend. Kelly, he boxed 5 times to win gold in Tokyo. 5 times.
I remember watching it with you talking about it, Bunsey, and how fantastic that performance was. Were you tempted to compete in this cycle, Galal?
You know what? I think I'd done my time. I went to 2 Olympics. I did Rio. I just missed out there, so I know what that feeling was like. I stayed for Tokyo, which again was an extra year with the pandemic. So I just thought it was my time to leave. I thought I left my stamp and give someone else opportunity.
Does it feel at the moment like there's been a bit of a resurgence in these big money boxing events now? It's making the amateur route maybe less attractive. Is that part of what boxers are factoring in?
Maybe. It weren't for me. I wanted to represent my country and win a gold medal. Like I said, it didn't work out in Rio. It worked out in Tokyo. But yeah, like you said, everyone wants the glory and the money and things like that. But I wanted that gold medal.
Some people, Galal, and some people, Kelly, can have both. Like the big heavyweight Bakalir Jalilov, who beat Big Fraze in the semi-final in Tokyo. Since then, he's won the World Championship twice and got nearly $200,000 from his government. He got $200,000 for winning that gold, and if he wins out here, he'll get another $200,000. Plus, the last fight tonight features a woman called Beatrice Ferreira, who about 3 months ago won one of Katie Taylor's old professional titles, and here she is competing for Brazil. It's a very mixed up world, this boxing business.
Yeah, that's having your cake and eating it, isn't it?
I reckon it is. It's like Galal winning a world title and fancying a 6-month trip to Los Angeles in 4 years' time.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Easy, son.
Listen, I just want to ask you, because Bunsey, just to go back to the kind of bigger picture for Team GB boxers at this Olympics, and I wonder what it's going to be like in that camp, because it seems like such a tight group. We see that in different sort of Olympic cycles, it seems to be the constant, that it is a very close-knit group. The fact that it hasn't gone well, and what kind of effect that can have, just from you as an overall view, and then Galal maybe with an insider's view of that.
Well, I was slightly concerned because I know this group, it's been together 3 years, they know each other, and there's some good friendships in there. They were one single unit, and I know from talking to the head coach Rob McCracken that they were hurting a little bit, because what they were saying to him was, Rob, we're fighting our heart out and we're not getting, as Galal said, the rub of the green. To have 4 of your 5 boxers crash out on 3-2s where they're losing by a single point, so if one of the 5 judges had scored one of the 3 rounds differently, we'd be talking now, if you don't mind me saying so, about 4 winners, because some of the people they lost to in their next fight, they breezed it 5-0, never took a punch. So I think the Cindy and Gambu win this afternoon would have steadied it, but we need Lewis, because we need a little bit of fervour, a little bit of a sort of thumbs up for British amateur boxing.
Galal, what do you think? Will it make a difference if Lewis Richardson can do it to the whole sort of spirit inside the camp?
Of course we need it. We definitely need it. Like I said earlier, Cindy's with the refugee team, but she's massively part of GB with the training. I train with them every day, so I know what's going on in the camp. I know how hard they work, and she's as part of Team GB as anyone. She's just wearing a different vest. But yeah, like I said, Lewis tonight, brilliant if you get to win, get the morale. Can't go back now on the losses, but it is what it is. We just have to move on, and hopefully Lewis can get that, or I should say, start that tonight.
Galal, really appreciate you talking to us this evening. Thanks so much for joining us.
No worries.
Thank you very much to Galal Yafai. Thank you, as always, as well to Steve Bunce and to Conor McNamara. Buncey, just remind us, Lewis Richardson goes in about half an hour?
Yeah, maybe a little bit about that sort of thing, I reckon. What time is it now? Because I'm a bit confused. I just rushed back from the shop. Yeah, about half an hour or so. Half an hour.
OK, sounds about right. We'll be back with you then anyway, come what may. We'll be hearing from Buncey and Conor. A quick check-in at Roland Garros. Lee James.
Yes, and this is big news really, because the Spanish pair Rafael Nadal and Carlos Alcaraz have had their serve broken in this second set. Remember, the American pair of Krajicek and Rahm took the first set 6-2. It was going with serve until the 7th game, but then Alcaraz has had his serve broken. A lot of dispute over where the ball bounced. The chair umpire got down. There was finger pointing from Nadal and Alcaraz. They thought the ball was in or out. We couldn't decide, but in the end the break of serve has gone the Americans' way, and they leave 4-3 in this second set.
Lee, thank you very much. Lee James will keep us up to date with everything that's going on there. Here in the pool, though, the tension is starting to build. We get things underway in just a few minutes' time with the women's 100 metres freestyle, but really tonight is all about Léon Marchand. He could make Olympic history. He could become the first ever person to win both the 200 metre butterfly and the 200 metres breaststroke at the same games. He could become the first ever person to be on the podium for both of those events. It's never been done before, for good reason. This is tough, and it's even tougher for Marchand because he's going to race in the 200 metres fly just after 7:35, and then just about a couple of hours later he's going to go again in the 200 metres breaststroke. Alistair Bruce-Ball is here, Steve Parry is here, Karen Pickering is here. Steve, the phrase that you've used about Léon Marchand is that what he's trying to do scrambles your head. Why is it so hard to get your head around? Why is this so difficult, and what are his chances?
Yeah, you know, the thing about the breaststroke that he's going to be doing tonight, it's technically very tough, you know, and the quite often specialists that dominate the breaststroke event. And then there's proper swimmers, your freestylers, your backstrokers, your butterflyers, you know, and we've seen, Phelps is a great example, but we've seen multi-eventers do it before on freestyle and backstroke, or freestyle and butterfly. You know, that's quite a common thing, whether it be in the male side of stuff or the female side of stuff. And Karen and I have been racking our heads. We can't remember even seeing anyone trying this double. And when I first heard about it, I thought it was absolute nonsense. I thought it was a bit of a gimmick and they were just talking about it to hype it up. But here he is tonight, and I'm genuinely excited. We got our snacks out, haven't we, guys? We got our snacks out. This is going to be a very entertaining night.
To bring snacks, and today everybody got so overexcited that we've all brought snacks. We were all stopping off at the supermarket on the way in, because this is just potentially an unprecedented situation, Karen. This is history in the making. Apart from anything else, Léon Marchand as well is going for 4 individual gold medals here. He's already got 1, but when he came in for the 400 metres individual medley, there was an expectation around it. It was seen as something that he was capable of doing. This time, tonight, in both races, there's jeopardy.
Yeah, and the audacity of him to come out and think he can win gold in those events when they are so very stacked. I mean, if he wasn't in the 200 butterfly, we would be talking non-stop about Christoph Milak, this incredible kid who came through as a 19-year-old and didn't just break Michael Phelps's record shortly after he retired, a record that we thought would stand for many, many years, but he smashed it, and then 3 years later he broke it again. We were in the crowd commentating when he broke that record in his hometown, and it was extraordinary. But he's not at his best. He hasn't swum. He had a difficult time and pulled out of the World Championships in 2023. So he's not as invincible as he was. And here comes Léon Marchand to go, I'm going to have a go at this. And he's looked wonderful in the semi-final of the 200 butterfly. And so you cannot write him off coming through and actually beating the world record holder at that event.
The other thing I think as well, Kelly, is there is always something very, very special, and this is why we're all so excited and everyone in this arena is so excited about witnessing sporting greatness live. Now, Léon Marchand is quite early on in his career, but to watch him swim is, you could put it up there with watching Tiger Woods play golf, Roger Federer play tennis, Michael Jordan play basketball, Shane Warne bowling leg spin, Usain Bolt, running the 100.
Simone Biles at the gymnastics.
Exactly. That's how exciting this is tonight. I think, even away from what he's trying to achieve, this unprecedented double, it's just the knowledge that this guy has the potential to be one of the very, very best, if not the very, very best, and we are lucky enough to be here to witness it live.
He proved his versatility earlier in the week on that 400 IM. The best all-round swimmer is, better than Michael Phelps ever was. I just think it's amazing that now he's going to prove it in specialisms and 2 in one night. I heard a story talking to the coaches earlier today that he said Bob Bowman, his coach, actually advised him against this double, and he said, that's why I want to do it. Because they were saying, Bob Bowman, it's never been done before. Forget the breaststroke freestyle. No one's ever won 2 individual medals in a night. Phelps has done relay in an individual. No one's done 2 individuals in a night. Never mind the hardest double there is to do. And I think that gives us a measure of the man, of Léon Marchand, that he just wants to write history, and in Paris as well.
And that's the thing, he's in front of that partisan home crowd, which just gives it that added spice, and they're already whipping themselves into a frenzy here inside the La Défense Arena as they prepare not for Léon Marchand's race. It's not the opening race of the night. This is the swimmers coming out for the women's 100 metres freestyle.
And that is what is so exciting about tonight's racing as well, Kelly. So we've got Marchand going in both, trying to do the double. We've got the blue ribboned events, so the 100 metres freestyle for both men and women. Super high quality field in both of those. The women's 100 metres freestyle final will be getting underway shortly. And just to add on top of that, Katie Ledecky, swimming royalty, the American, trying to win an 8th gold medal in the women's 1500 metre freestyle. It is a ridiculous schedule tonight. This, though, about to get underway is the women's 100 metres freestyle final. Really difficult to pick your winner here. Your contenders across the 8 lanes. Tori Huss, the 21-year-old American, has already won gold in the 100 metres butterfly here. Marit Steenbergen, the Dutch woman, coming into these games the fastest in the world over this distance. Molly O'Callaghan, the Australian, the 20-year-old, going for the 100 metre and 200 metre double. Siobhan Hawley representing Hong Kong, the quickest in the semi-final. Shayna Jack, the Australian, was just behind her. Yang Junwan, the Chinese athlete, in lane 6. Sarah Sjöström of Sweden, 30 years old, but still the world record holder in 7. Gretchen Walsh in lane 8. Pick a winner, Karen Pickering.
Oh, thanks for that. Well, I mean, Molly O'Callaghan is in the most amazing form, but I think this is just one race where the medals could come from anywhere. And you can't write off somebody like Sarah Sjöström because she is just so experienced and still the world record holder. Every single one of these swimmers has reason to be on the podium.
Let the fun begin. What a night of swimming we had ahead of us in the La Défense Arena. jam-packed, 17,000 people sitting high above the glistening light blue pool. This, the women's 100 metres freestyle final. They're called to their marks, and they are away. Molly O'Callaghan, the Australian, in lane 3. All the swimmers emerge above the water, and they are all shoulder to shoulder over the first 25 metres. Karen, what are you seeing?
Great start from Tori Huss, the surprise winner of the 100 butterfly, and then furthest away from her in lane 8, Gretchen Walsh, who was silver in the 100 butterfly, going well also.
Speed swimming, gold medal up for grabs. Both Americans, lane 1 and lane 8, going really well. Husk and Walsh. In between them, Siobhan Hawhey of Hong Kong. Suddenly, the noise builds inside the arena. Hawhey looks strong in the white cap in lane 4. Might just have this at the moment. Tori Huss still going well over in lane 1. They are shoulder to shoulder. This is going to be another very, very tight finish into the last 10 metres of the race. It might still be Husk over in lane 1. Hawhey's coming as well. So's O'Callaghan. Who gets the touch? It's Sjöström. It's Sjöström, the Swede. The 30-year-old Swede comes from nowhere in lane 7 to win the gold medal. She roars with delight. She cannot believe it. What an incredible performance. She hasn't swum this distance at a long course meet for the last couple of years. She was a surprise entry. You have to say she's a surprise winner. It's a surprise to herself.
She can't believe it. She still can't get her head around the fact that she's won. There she was in the outside lane. She was on top of the rope, smashing that water. She did a Redgrave earlier this year. She did 100 free and said, I am never doing 100 free ever again. And then she surprised herself with a fast time. Karen, here she is. She's won 4 different individual gold medals up until this point, and now she's gone and won the 100 free for a second time.
That is extraordinary swimming from Sarah Sjöström, but she is so experienced in that situation and so fast. Obviously the world record holder at this event. She loves the 50 fly, doesn't get to swim it here. She got in and did the 100 freestyle instead.
That is an incredible start to an incredible night of swimming, and that's how sometimes it can almost make a fool of you, because Sjöström, I have my eyes on Tori Husk and Siobhan Hawhey and Molly O'Callaghan. Sjöström burst through at the end to win the gold. The American Tori Husk takes silver, Siobhan Hawhey takes the bronze, and Molly O'Callaghan misses out on a medal altogether. She finishes in 4th.
Ali, you know how we're expanding our swimming lexicon over the course of this meet at the Olympics? That's almost an outside smoker, isn't it?
Yep, lane 7, we'll take it.
Do you know what though? She's a granny of the pool. Sjöström, she has been around for a decade and a half. I mean, I think at 14 or 15 she won the World Championships, didn't she? I mean, for her to be here and still doing it at 30 years of age, I mean, that's one of the stories of the week. And the Swedes behind us here in the comms box, they've only just settled down. They were doing all sorts of jigs celebrating that one, but you know, and the Americans again very, very disappointed with that. They had 2 people.
I can still hear them, the Swedish commentators. They're still going at full pelt, because there is a surprise as Sarah Sjöström was. Just fantastic scenes as she took gold medal in the women's 100 metres freestyle. We are almost set for the swimmers to come out for the men's 200 metres butterfly, the first race in which Léon Marchand will feature. Before we get to him, let's have a quick check on the tennis. Lee James.
Well, Kelly, this is huge. Austin Krajicek of the United States is serving for the match against Rafael Nadal and Carlos Alcaraz. That break of serve could well prove costly. The US leading 5-4, now serving to knock out Nadal and Alcaraz.
Lee, thank you very much. And he's on his way, Alistair Bruce-Ball.
Yeah, I almost feel sorry for the other swimmers in this race at the moment, because pretty much everyone inside this arena, well, certainly the French fans, they are not bothered about these other swimmers coming out. We think, Steve Parry, this is probably going to be a head-to-head. Lane 5, Léon Marchand, France's golden boy, trying to win this second gold medal of the Games and the first of this unprecedented potential double tonight. Christoph Milak, the Hungarian, he's dominated this event for the last 5 years. He'll be in lane 5. We think it's going to be a shootout between those 2.
Yeah, and I want you to check out Milak's face when he comes out. He hates the fact that Marchand is even daring to encroach on his event, and he's not enjoyed the build-up. You know, he has dominated this event for the last 5 years. He is the world record holder, but everybody's talking about Marchand. I firmly believe he wants to put Marchand in his place with a statement swim tonight, and because he was totally unimpressed after the semi-final with Marchand.
Well, it is absolutely mouth-watering. Tricolores at the ready. Ilya Karoun might have a say in this final, 19-year-old Canadian. There's the French flag, and here he is, he appears, he walks through the blue arch, away to our left-hand side, still looking so remarkably calm and relaxed, carrying the weight of a nation on those powerful swimming shoulders. Young Léon Marchand, 22 years old. It's that familiar white hooded coat, the dark blue swimming cap, goggles are already on, and Steve Parry is absolutely right. Not amused, Milak. He is staring out the French fans, face like thunder, and he's basically come out here to say, Karen Pickering, I am taking him down, and I'm taking most of you down as well.
Yeah, he is. That was the face of a man who is not going to roll over and give up a title easily, that's for sure.
Right, lane 1, Alberto Rossetti, the Italian. Gregor Zirk, the Estonian, in lane 2. Ilya Karoun, the 19-year-old Canadian, bouncing up and down behind his diving board in lane 3. Christoph Milak, Olympic champion, world record holder, means business. Does not want to lose his title to the young upstart Léon Marchand tonight. Marchand in lane 5, Noah Ponti of Switzerland in lane 6, Krzysztof Kimilewski of Poland in 7, and Martin Espernberger of Austria in 8. Are they going to be bit part players? Are we literally just going to be watching lanes 4 and 5? 4 is Milak, 5 is Marchand, and you will be in no doubt during this race who most of this arena want to win. And Marchand, look at the focus, just looking to his left down the pool. Spine-tingling stuff. Silence falls at the La Défense Arena. Marchand and Milak settle. Milak just taking his time. Take your marks. And the 200 metres butterfly final is underway. Marchand and Milak gliding beautifully immediately into the butterfly stroke, and in the first 25 metres already out in front of this race, and it's Milak, Karen, who just has the edge.
It is Milak. It certainly means business as he's hit the water. Beautiful technician, very, very smooth as he brings his arm over the water, very low in the water as he swims.
Karoun, the Canadian, is their closest challenger at the moment, 0.64 ahead, Milak, of the home hero Marchand. Both men again appear after the turn, and there's the big roar as they come down the second 50 metres of this race, and Milak is looking really strong here, but how much will he have left in the tank over the last 100 metres? Milak still by half a body length from Marchand, but don't rule out Ilya Karoun, the Canadian. He's still right in this race. They reach the turn.
Yeah, that's right. And Milak is usually very, very strong in his second half of the race, but of course Léon Marchand is a 400 medley specialist, so he is powerful in the closing stages. Karoun's still in the mix.
French fans trying to help their man. Marchand has got work to do. No swimmer has ever medalled in the butterfly and the breaststroke over 200 metres. That is what he's trying to do tonight, and he's got a real job on here to try and take that gold out of Milak's hands. They reach the last turn in the race, Karen.
Yeah, and it's a great underwater work from both Marchand and Milak. Marchand still underwater, he's only just coming up, right on his shoulders.
Wow, look at this. Marchand has suddenly made up the ground. 2 generational talents going head to head. Marchand, the home hero, roared on by the French fans. He's gaining ground. Milak is trying to hold him off. I think Marchand's going to get him. 5 minutes to go. Marchand's going to get there. He touches first. C'est magnifique. He's done it. His second gold medal of the games. The double is on tonight. He was behind for most of that race. He was not to be denied. He flips the goggles up and he very coolly wags a finger and says, I told you so. That boy is unbelievable. Gold for Marchand, silver for Milak, and Karoun from Canada takes the bronze. Wow!
He got that on the final turn. That boy stayed underwater. He did not come up. He powered underwater, and when his head came up, he was right on the shoulders of Milak, and he had the crowd lifted him down that final 50 metres.
I have never seen anything in my life like that in a swimming pool. That is unbelievable. Leon Marchand beating Christoph Milak, the guy that's tore up the history books when it comes to the 200 metres butterfly. And just look, who used to be the most decorated 200 metres butterfly swimmer in history. He can't believe it's happened. Marchand can't believe it's happened.
Listen to that. Marchand is out of the water. Standing ovation. Tricolores flying. That was an incredible battle. Milak went out so fast. Marchand managed to stay with him. The home crowd must have helped him, giving him an extra boost down that last 50 metres. And the thing is, the smile is brief and the celebration is short-lived, because he's got to try and do the double. Kelly, no person has ever medalled in the two events. He is going to try and win gold in both. He's got a darn good chance of doing it as well.
Even if he finishes on the podium in the men's 200 metres breaststroke, which goes round about 9:30 UK time, he will have made history. He just needs to be in the top three, but he will want gold. He's got 2 golds of a possible 4 individual gold medals at this Olympics, and he is so relaxed. His whole demeanour is so loose and relaxed, despite carrying the weight of a nation and the weight of a sport, a weight of history on his shoulders. Sometimes you need to see it, and what we're trying to bring you, sometimes you need to see it in real life to realise just how special someone is.
I'm trying to get my head around this. That was the hardest event that he had to do, Kelly. The 200 metres butterfly against a guy that broke Michael Phelps' world record by not 1 but 2 seconds. Leon Marchand has just gone a second and a half faster than Michael Phelps ever went on his best event, the 200 metres butterfly. I said outside when we were doing a little bit for 5 Live, I said this is too tough, he'll get 0 G's. He's just destroyed Milak and got a gold. I can't believe it.
In terms of the excitement this man is generating, Kelly, and we've been trying to explain it, haven't we, to people, what he means to this country. Julien Laurent showed me the front page of L'Equipe today, which is a picture of Leon Marchand with his arms stretched high in the air, and the headline behind him is Le Jour le plus Léon. So it's a play on Le Jour le plus long, the longest day, the famous film. Le Jour le plus Léon. Goodness me, he's delivered in the first one tonight. The breaststroke final that's on the way, I cannot wait.
It is the Leonist day. And the other thing to say about that race, Karen, is the drama he almost certainly inadvertently provided, and the fact that he had to come behind from 25 metres to go of the 200. He was trailing and he just switched gear.
And the discipline that he had, because Milak took that race out quite quickly, and Milak normally is very strong in the second half. The discipline to stick to his skills. So on that final turn, he didn't pop up and get up into his stroke. He stayed under. He sat underwater, and when he did come up, he had far less strokes to do than Milak did down that final 50, and he had the crowd lifting him on every one. He picked up the pace with 5 metres out from the wall. He found another gear. He wasn't going to leave it to the chance of a close touch. He was going to make sure that he won that properly, no doubts. He's absolutely smashed it.
Did you see Milak's face?
Oh yes.
He looked like thunder. He looked like my wife on a Thursday when I'm meant to be cooking and I've come in late. Do you know what I mean? It was totally not impressed at all.
I'll be back at 5 and then you text at 7 and say you're going to be late. That was the face on Milak. But he was furious because he was using all that momentum that was behind Leon Marchand to motivate him. It was a sort of almost like that negative motivation. Sometimes it's about positive, it's reaching towards something, and sometimes it's about trying to stop someone doing something.
I mean, at any level, if you look at that, Kelly, at any level, I can't get my head around it. He broke his Olympic record as well. He is faster than Milak was at his prime in Tokyo. I mean, He's an unbelievable talent.
And as you said, faster than Michael Phelps ever was. And Michael Phelps said, for me, nobody believed that I was able to do the things I was trying to do. But I did deep down inside. And he's talking about Leon Marchand when he says, same thing for him, and I love it. So Michael Phelps is one of Leon Marchand's greatest supporters, as well as the fact that he's going for that rivalry as well from different generations. The women's 200-metre butterfly semi-finals, Alistair.
Yes, the American Regan Smith has just come out in pink Ugg boots and pink mittens to keep her hands warm. I'm going to ask Karen Pickering about that in a second. Let's concentrate on the racing first of all. British involvement here. 8 fastest across the 2 heats will make it through to the 200 metres butterfly final, and Laura Stevens will swim for Great Britain in lane 1. They're into the pool. Good start from Laura Stevens in that bright red British swimming cap. Real competition in here. Some big names, some great swimmers. Summer McIntosh, the 17-year-old Canadian, already having a fabulous games here in Paris in lane 3. Regan Smith, I just mentioned her in lane 4. And Elizabeth Deckers, the young Australian, in lane 6. Karen, what about the start of this race?
Yeah, it was a good start from Laura Stevens, and she really needs to up her game in this semi-final. Only 19 swimmers entered the competition, 16 through to the semis, but now it's down to business. And Summer McIntosh, who started the game so well, gold in the 400 IM, silver in the 400 freestyle, is looking supreme.
Yeah, Summer McIntosh in lane 3 is out in front at the moment. 25 metres to go, 125 in total, 4 lengths of the pool. Her closest challenger is Regan Smith on her left-hand side, but this is a better swim from Laura Stevens at the moment. She is staying in touch, and Helena Bark of Denmark is up there as well. As they turn, it's McIntosh, Smith and Bark. So why is Smith wearing mittens and Ugg boots in the pool?
Well, the swimmers like to be really, really warm before they get in the water, keep their muscles warm. Some of them will have swum down, so they'll be warmed up, so they'll be in wet swimsuits. And in an arena like this, it actually can be quite chilly down poolside, so they just put on all the layers.
There you go. Former Olympians giving us the explanations. Every day's a school day on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Heading towards the last 50 metres of this race, Laura Stevens is having to work very hard now, losing touch with the front 3 or 4 in the race. Summer McIntosh out in front. Regan Smith, her closest challenger. Elizabeth Deckers, the Australian, has made some ground.
Yeah, Regan Smith had an excellent turn there. The backstroke specialist using that fly kick underwater. It's a head-to-head with Summer McIntosh.
8 fastest across the 2 heats go through. I've got Laura Stevens about 5th in this heat at the moment, and this is Summer McIntosh against Regan Smith at the moment. McIntosh just has the edge. Powerful butterfly stroke, bringing the swimmers to the finish here. Summer McIntosh will get a touch. Laura Stevens is finishing really strongly for Great Britain in lane 4, and she finishes 5th. Deckers, the Australian, in 3rd, Bark in 4th, and Laura Stevens in 5th. Kelly.
Alistair, thank you very much. We'll be back for the second of those semi-finals, but in the tennis. Nadal Alcaraz has reached the end of the line. And at the tennis for us, Lee James.
Yes, beaten in straight sets 6-2, 6-4. The American pair of Krajicek and Rahm sealing victory as they converted their second match point. There was a very poignant moment when Rafa Nadal turned round and acknowledged all the crowd as he left court Philippe Chatrier, potentially for the final time. Nadal and Alcaraz beaten today 6-2, 6-4.
Lee, thank you very much. It has been a miserable and frustrating Olympics for Team GB in the boxing. All hopes now rest on the shoulders of Lewis Richardson. He's in action, watched on by Steve Bunce and Conor McNamara.
He's in the ring and about to start against Vahid Abasov, representing Serbia, but originally a Russian. We are in the boxing hall at the North Paris Arena out by Shoulder Goal. I was in at Place de la Concorde earlier on today in the blazing sunshine, but the atmosphere here in the boxing arena is dark and it is moody. The ultraviolet light, the Olympic livery draped over the canvas and the apron of the ring, and Lewis Richardson, 27 years of age from Essex, the last man standing for Team GB's boxing team. He's out of the red corner. He's got a significant height advantage on Abasov, Budsy. He's looking down at him there as they met in the centre of the ring.
I thought it might be an inch or two. It looks like it's about 7 inches. So what do you do with that height? You use it to your advantage. Let's find out.
He's underway. His 5 teammates have already been eliminated. Can Lewis Richardson do the business here over these 3-minute rounds? It's a very brutal aspect of Olympic boxing that it's an immediate knockout situation. You lose and you go home. He's got the gloves raised up in front of his face, Lewis Richardson, and he's trying to spot any little gap, any little weakness in his Serbian opponent to land the first critical punches. They're shadow boxing in front of each other. Not a single punch landed yet. Almost 30 seconds into the fight. swish out of the right glove, but it's several inches short. Richardson has got much longer arms than his opponent, so Abasov is going to need to get in close. That's a good right punch connection from Lewis Richardson, trying to impress the judges with 2 minutes to go in round one.
And you can win a fight like this. If you can keep Abasov at a distance, like Lewis can, you can win a fight with 5 punches in a round. You don't have to have a slugfest, a rocky slugfest every single fight. Right now, he's boxing perfectly. A minute in, nice and controlled. He's a little bit slow, Abasov, and he's a very, very short.
Abasov out of the blue tries a double combination, doesn't really make any of them hit, maybe cut a shoulder of Richardson, something like that, but it's been a low scoring round for both fighters so far as we approach the midway point of round one.
That was a lovely little counter Richardson dropped in there. He's a southpaw, leads with his right hand. He dropped a left in over the top, and it was a good scoring shot. You can win fights like this. As I say, not every fight needs to be a long, drawn out, rocky slugfest. You know what? Help our ulcers. Make it simple. How about that? That's the plea.
It's been a long
That's
week for Budsy here in the boxing hall. Lewis Richardson getting command of the centre of the ring here. Just steps back as his opponent Abasov swooshes through the air with a right glove that doesn't come anywhere near a connection. That was a bit better from Abasov. Good response from Richardson. And both fighters trying to get control of the centre of the ring. They both connect there with 1 minute to go in round one.
And that was a good move by Abasov. He showed a punch, moved his feet, then let his punches go. Abasov will get closer in the second round. Don't worry about that. And that's why Lewis has to make the most this round, as Abasov is just trying to sort him out, just trying to find out what he feels like doing. But Lewis can change his style. Don't worry about that.
Abasov, who has fought 7 professional fights and won them all, dropping back to the amateur status to be here at the Olympics in Paris. He was a silver medalist at the light middleweight at the European Games last year. Richardson being cautious in this early round, trying to get in, get his work done, and get away again before Abasov can repeat. But neither have landed any big significant blows in this first round. That was a good right from Abasov. Good counter immediately from Richardson, who's leading with that right arm, but hoping to get a moment to drill through with the southpaw left. And there he tries, and did he connect? I think he did. Great response from Abasov, though, into the side of the head of Richardson, and that will have impressed the judges for the Serb.
That will have impressed the judges. You've got to be absolutely honest. Any big showy punches, they're the ones that can catch the eye of a judge in a round when there's not a lot happening. That's the 10 clacker.
There is the bell for the end of round one. The men's 71 kilogram. This is the light middleweight division. The two men go to their quarters, and Richardson has work to do to avoid this being a whitewash elimination for Team GB in the boxing ring. He's in danger of being the 6th out of 6 to go home after just one bout. He trails after the opening round.
He trails after the opening round. He landed 5 or 6 shots. Abasov landed 5 or 6 shots. 3 of the 5 officials at ringside liked Abasov's final right hand, maybe, and the other 2 liked Richardson handling it and controlling it from distance. Gary Howe and Dave Holloway are in the corner with Richardson. They're veterans of Olympics. They're veterans of hundreds and hundreds of international tournaments, thousands of fights. This fight will not be allowed to slip away unless something dramatic happens. Lewis can step on it, and he will have to step on it. The key is, Connor, does he go heavy in this round, or does he hold a bit back for the third?
Yeah, so it's been a close fight on the judges' scorecards. They've all gone 10-9 one way or the other, and that signifies that they don't think there's much in it. There is a chance for Lewis Richardson, but it's not a great sign that he has lost the opening of just 3 rounds. Team GB that won 2 golds at Tokyo 3 years ago. The boxing, which has been such a regular supplier of medals to Team GB over the years. 62 boxing Olympic medals have been won by British athletes over the years, but Lewis Richardson, the last remaining hope to try and add to that tally here in Paris, and he's going more on the offensive here in the opening 30 seconds of round 2.
I think that's what I would do as well. I wouldn't leave it to the last round. Win this round comfortably. Get away with a 5-0 here. Then after you've got a 5-0, then you've got a good chance in the last round. It's going to be a free-for-all in the last round. We will get that slugfest I was talking about. Lewis Richardson knows he has to. He's at a weight that he's comfortable at. It's not his natural weight, but he's comfortable at it.
More aggressive, more on the front foot from Richardson here in this second round, forcing Abasov to time and time again take a little step back, retreat towards a corner, maybe bounce off a rope. That's better from Abasov as he tries to to come out swinging, but then the referee steps in to separate them, and we've got just over 1 minute 45 seconds to go in round 2.
And I'd like to see Richardson step in after the clinch. It's an old trick, an old Cuban trick. After a clinch, after the referee speaks to you, straight away you hit the guy with 2 punches because he's not fully set. It's an old trick, but it works a treat. Richardson will get that jab, that right jab pumping, and he'll start to land that left hand. He can win this fight comfortably, despite the first round 3-2 deficit.
Lewis Richardson of Team GB against Vahid Abasov representing Serbia. They're both in a clinch in the centre of the ring, their arms entangled around each other. The referee allowing them to sort it out between themselves for a few seconds and then ultimately stepping in, and away we go again. Just over a minute remaining in round 2. Richardson with work to do to try and impress the judges. There's the swing of the left, but the ducking head of the shorter Abasov, and he clears away from danger. And now Abasov comes on the attack. That's a good combination from him, and Richardson goes in and grabs onto the opponent and tries to go to work down low.
Richardson can't do his work in close. Abasov's too short, his arms are too short, his knees are too short when he dips down. Richardson can't do anything in close. He's got to keep it long like that. Big perfect jab. I can hear Richie Woodall doing TV 20 feet away, and he's roaring. Get your jab going, get your jab going. He can win this with his jab.
40 seconds to go in round 2. Lewis Richardson, the southpaw from Essex. His natural weight division used to be 75 kg. That weight limit has been removed from these Olympics, so that's why he's had to drop down to 71 kgs. He still looks huge compared to his opponent. Abasov connects with a really solid right, and Richardson had to swoop away from that one, but he was caught. Richardson needs to impress the judges here in round 2. 15 seconds to go. We'll hear the hammer in just a moment. Abasov tries to stretch in low. Richardson has to step back. Now he comes in the attack. A right, then a left. That was better. Richardson still perhaps needs more, though, in this round. The bell's going to go any moment. They go into a clinch again. It's almost a headlock by Abasov on the stooping Richardson. And there is the bell for the end of round 2.
It's going to be the same kind of score here. I'm convinced of it. It's going to be 2-3 either way. Let's have a look. What have they done? They've gone 3-2 for Lewis. Look at the scores now. We have a massive... Oh, this is quite incredible. One judge wants Richardson, one judge wants Abasov, the other three are drawn.
So it's in the balance with a round to go as we go to the pool, and Alistair Bruce Ball.
Great Britain's Laura Stephens has made it through to the women's 200 metres butterfly final. You needed to be one of the 8 fastest qualifiers. She was 8 fastest. She is in. Kiana McInnes, fellow Brit, just misses out. She was 9th quickest.
So it's all happening on 5 Live at Paris 2024. Alistair Bruce Ball there at the pool. Alcaraz and Nadal are in action at the tennis. And here in the boxing ring, you can hear the rumble of the crowd. The thousands in here, ready for a big final round in a bout that is pretty much neck and neck after the first 2.
We've been in this exact same position already 4 of the 5 times with this ridiculous situation. We're going into the last round. It's 1 point can separate dreams from grim reality.
This is what it all comes down to. All the preparation, all the time in the gym, all the sacrifices, the early mornings for Lewis Richardson from Colchester. Can he impress the judges? Can he continue this upward curve of improvement in a fight in which he lost the first round but then won the second? Abasov with his arms raised there, almost trying to distract Richardson for a moment.
Not just that, he does a clever thing. If he lands a good shot, he raises his hand to let the judges, a subliminal message to the judges. I'm convinced of it. It's a clever move, basic move.
Yeah, I'm comfortable. I'm enjoying it. Here is the message from Abasov. Richardson, though, who's begun to respond to the questions being asked of him, beginning to land punches now, beginning to impress the judges on the scorecard as the referee comes in and has a word that Abasov taps the back of his head, and away they go again. 2 minutes remaining in round 3. 2 minutes for Lewis Richardson to get into the next round.
To change his destiny and to change the course of this Olympics for GB boxing. Richardson has got to go for it now. You can't lose by a slight margin. You're better off losing by a big margin and going for it. You can't cry over spilt milk. You can't cry if you lose by 1 or 2 points. You've got to push for it now.
This is a sort of gloomy exhibition centre out by the airport, but the boxing finals are going to be held at Roland Garros, the tennis stadium, and Lewis Richardson wants to be there, reaches with the right, using that height advantage that he has, those longer legs. Abasov tries to respond. Good defence though from Richardson, picks off a very neat right there. That was clean. The hands are down from Abasov here, and Richardson is hoping that he can impress with just over a minute to go now.
And he can impress. If he can just land a couple of more lefts, a straight left, this is good stuff for Richardson. He's showing the offensive. And Abasov's in danger of getting a warning. for holding his heel. The referee's spoken to him twice. One more time, it could be a point off. The referee's not happy with Abasov. Lewis has got to go for it now. He's got 50-odd seconds. Just go for it. It's that simple, Connor.
5 judges around the ring, all in white shirts and black bow ties, and they're looking on and they are rating the merits of these two fighters as they go at it, both trying to get command of the centre of the ring. Lewis Richardson out of the red corner, Vakid Abasov in blue. Abasov just leaning forward, almost strutting his chin out, urging Richardson to attack so he can counter. That is a good response from Abasov. He's beginning to show a bit of class in the closing stages now of round 3, and questions being asked of Richardson as Abasov provides another impressive combination there.
Yeah, he's clever at closing down the ring, Abasov. When he gets close, he lets 3 or 4 punches go. They're scoring blows and also eye-catching. But Lewis has landed the more punches in this round. The jab and the left cross has worked.
Yes, that signal to the judges again from Abasov as he raises his hands in the air and he says, I'm fine. But Richardson hopes that maybe now in these final 10 seconds, one more punch could really make all the difference here in a tight bout. But there's nothing that comes. Both boxers celebrate as the bell goes. Richardson's got a smile on his face, and now the nervous wait for the judges' cards.
It is a nervous wait. I've got to tell you, he won that contest. He didn't win it as big as Rosie Eccles won, but he won it bigger than Delicious, bigger than Charlie, and bigger than Chantel. He won that contest, the last round, and he knew it. Abasov was doing that thing like he's doing now. He's playing to the crowd. Lewis Richardson won that. Again, it's going to be dreadfully tight. Remember, 3 of the judges had it even going into that round. The other 2 had it won. Had it by 2 points to either fighter.
Lewis Richardson had to keep his discipline there against an unorthodox opponent in terms of his height and stature and that low target to aim for. And we wait for the referee's cards. And Lewis Richardson now suddenly that smile is gone. It's more a pensive face as we see some of these slow motion replays of the action from that bout. The referee brings the 2 boxers into the centre of the ring. He's got their hands in his. Lewis Richardson in red, Vakid Abasov in blue, and the winner is in the red corner. Lewis Richardson becomes the first Team GB boxer to win in the ring in Paris. You called it, Bunsey. He did enough.
In that last round, he won on 3 of the scores. That was all he needed to do, and that's what he did, and that was magnificent. That was absolutely, truly magnificent. I'm so pleased for him. He deserved that. He deserved that. We've had some justice here today. I was fully prepared, Connor. I was about to write on here the score the other way around and show you and run my finger across my neck. I'm going to go and find him. I'm going to go and speak to him. For the first time now in 6 days, I'm going to go and speak to a British winner.
A victorious Team GB boxer as he celebrates in the ring, and of course he does. He's earned his place in the quarter-final. Lewis Richardson, who had to work for that, there's no doubt. He improved as the fight progresses, having lost the first round. Split decision in the second went in his favour, though, and then he stepped down on the gas, and Lewis Richardson is out of the ring and celebrating, and his stay here in Paris is going to continue. Finally, Team GB can celebrate in the boxing hall in Paris.
At last, good news for Team GB in the boxing. Connor and Bunsey, thank you very much for that. It's been a great day for Team GB all round. They've taken 5 medals across various sports today. We'll round that up for you very shortly. It's been an incredible night at the pool with Léon Marchand, the French swimmer, on course for an unprecedented achievement. He just had a huge upset to win gold in the men's 200 metres butterfly, and in about an hour and a half time he goes again in the men's 200 metres breaststroke. He's on course for 4 individual gold medals at these games. He's already got 2. By the end of tonight he could have 3. We'll be looking ahead to that. We've also got the men's 100 metres freestyle final coming up for you, all of which will happen this evening, but after the BBC News with Stuart Clarkson.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
Kelly, thank you. Good evening. The BBC says it's shocked to hear the details of the offences committed by Hugh Edwards, adding there was no place for such abhorrent behaviour. The former presenter has pleaded guilty to 3 counts of making indecent images of children. The 62-year-old was arrested last November and resigned from the BBC in April. The BBC said if he had been charged while he was employed, he would have been sacked. 4 men have been arrested in connection with the rioting in Southport last night, in which more than 50 police officers were injured. Merseyside police think protesters who gathered outside a mosque were from a far-right group, responding to online rumours about the boy being questioned over Monday's fatal stabbing of 3 girls. Meanwhile, there's been some disorder near to Downing Street in central London tonight. Cans and bottles were thrown at a line of police in riot gear. The Met says some protesters breached the conditions of a planned demonstration in Whitehall. We're hearing that more than a dozen protesters have been detained by police. The Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says Israel has delivered crushing blows to all its enemies in recent days. It was his first public statement since the political leader of Hamas, Ismail Haniyeh, was assassinated in Tehran. Hamas said the killing will not go unanswered. And an 8-year-old girl and a 31-year-old woman have died in a house fire in Huddersfield. A 10-year-old girl is also in hospital in a critical condition. West Yorkshire Police say the fire is being treated as suspicious. Crews were called to the house on Leeds Road in Huddersfield just before 2:30 this morning.
On BBC iPlayer.
I'm Paddy the Baddy Pimley.
I'm Meatball Molly McCann.
We're 2 mates from Liverpool, currently fighting in the UFC.
Real fighters.
You don't really get a much more brutal sport than MMA.
And their real lives.
My life's not all about just training and fighting. I think I'm an entrepreneur. How'd you say that?
Paddy and Molly show no mercy.
The next 6 months are going to be the biggest fights of our lives, and that's a fact.
Watch on BBC iPlayer.
The Olympic Games, Paris 2024.
With Kelly Kears.
On BBC Radio 5 Live.
Team GB are enjoying their best day of the Games so far. After Beth Potter took bronze in the women's triathlon, the first of 2 British golds of the day came in the men's event.
This is amazing from Alex D. He's found energy out of nowhere and he passes the New Zealand athlete. Alex D of Great Britain is the Olympic champion in Paris 2024. Wow!
And not too long after that, there was another dramatic finish, this time with Team GB's rowers in the women's quadruple sculls.
Have Britain got one last push? They're getting closer and closer and closer with 10 metres to go, with 5 metres to go. I think they've done it. Just Lauren Henry, Hannah Scott, Lola Anderson and Georgie Brayshaw. They have won Olympic gold.
It was silver for Kieran Riley in the BMX freestyle and a bronze medal in the diving pool.
And Great Britain have won the bronze because that is not going to be good enough for Ukraine, I fancy. Andreas Bendolini, Syriacs, Lois Tolson, huge congratulations. Another synchronised diving medal for Great Britain.
And here in the pool, it's 1 down, 1 to go for Léon Marchand.
5 minutes to go. Marchand's going to get there. He touches first. C'est magnifique. He's done it. His second gold medal of the Games.
And a shock in the men's doubles. Rafael Nadal and Carlos Alcaraz are out after a straight sets defeat by the USA.
This is 5 Live Sports at the Olympic Games.
With Kelly Kears.
On 5 Live and BBC Sounds.
Well, finally, there is good news for Team GB. Lewis Richardson with a win in the boxing. Galal Yafai joined us before the match to look ahead to it and can now join us afterwards. Now that we've seen Lewis Richardson win, how impressive was he in that fight, Galal?
Yeah, it was great. We're finally up and running. First win, hopefully, and another one on Friday.
What was it that impressed you so much? What did he get right?
Well, it was even going into the last round, so, it was nip and tuck. A lot of pressure going into that last round. And I think he just boxed a bit more fluid, he looked more natural, and he was a deserved winner.
A deserved winner, but we know that hasn't always necessarily been enough to get the win, particularly for one of Team G's boxers in particular. And there's been a real sense of frustration within the camp. I mean, you talked about the effect that can have. Now that they have that win for Lewis Richardson, can that just start to maybe slowly but start to change that momentum a bit?
Yeah, definitely, up in the morale, Lewis will be more confident now. It would just up in everyone's spirits, people getting behind him, people at home, people there for GB. So hopefully he can, get all that in and just use it on Friday.
I mean, the other thing that we should mention as well is that this is the smallest team. There are 3 men and 3 women, and it's the smallest team since the 2004 Olympics in Athens, where Amir Khan won silver. So When we're talking about, a really unhappy Olympics for the boxers, are we overstating it a little bit?
Maybe. I think it's because the Tokyo team was so good, not to blow any trumpets, but 6 medals is brilliant for Team GB. I think it's one of the most in any Olympics we've had. It's hard to beat that, so it's going to look really bad compared to that. But if we can get 1 medal now, it's better than 0.
Exactly, and there is something now for Lewis Richardson to aim for. But firsthand what it's like to see your teammates not achieve their goals. How do you use your own success to try and help your teammates who might have suffered these real disappointments?
Yeah, it's just staying close together. Team GB are normally a close-knit team, and because I'm there with them and training with them at GB, I see how close-knit they all are, and you just have to comfort each other, stay by each other, and just support each other, and hopefully the rest of the guys are doing that with Lewis now.
What do you think Lewis can do at these games, Galal?
He can definitely medal. I'm watching the fights now. Actually, he's got the Indian or the Ecuadorian next. Hopefully he can just bring some form into that, and hopefully he can bag that medal on Friday.
Galal, really good to talk to you. Thanks so much.
No worries. See you in a bit.
See you in a bit. Thanks very much to Galal Yafai there for joining us after Lewis Richardson with a win at last for Team GB in the boxing at these Paris Olympics. Well, we're at the pool here at the La Défense Arena where we are awaiting Léon Marchand a little bit later on, about 9:30 UK time, for the men's 200 metres breaststroke. It's already been an incredible win for him in the men's 200 metres butterfly. We've got the women's 1500 metres freestyle coming up very shortly. But earlier in the show, we brought you the men's all-round final in the gymnastics. There were no British medals, but a respectable 5th place for Joe Fraser, 7th for Jake Jarman, and they both spoke to Betty Glover afterwards.
Joe, I'm going to come to you first. 5th overall in the all-around. How do you feel after that?
I'm very proud, to be honest. I think I always knew that I had the capabilities to, get in and amongst the greatest in the world, and me and Jake qualifying in the top group, we wanted to showcase that today and enjoy the competition. And the best part about it was that I got to go around with Jake and Baz and Ben and our physio, so yeah, I really enjoyed the competition. I'm proud that I managed to stick basically every dismount I did, so yeah, I enjoyed every minute, and I looked up to the crowd, saw my parents, which was awesome.
Can you tell us a little bit about your journey over the last 18 months? Because I know it's been really tough.
Yeah, it's been tough. I had a shoulder surgery and a foot surgery beginning of last year. Lots of ups and downs along the way. There's a lot that's gone on over the last 12 to 18 months. I've damaged my fingers, and I've not been able to do P-bar for 12 months. So, even being able to do the parallel bars in the British Championships earlier in this year was like a huge relief. Honestly, if I took myself back 12 months, I would definitely not believe that this has happened today.
Very well done. Jake, let's go over to you then. How are your emotions after that? Your first Olympics and your 7th in the all-around.
Yeah, I'm happy. Gosh, it's weird. I think 2 years ago, I probably wouldn't have ever seen myself being in like a top 24 and, all round. But to be in the top group, like starting off with Joe, and it's been an amazing comp. I've enjoyed every single moment. And for me, I think today personally, like I didn't feel like I had expectation to do well and place anywhere. So it was all about experience and kind of feeling the atmosphere and what it's like to compete at games. So then hopefully in the next 4 years I can really push that top spot. Not top, I mean that'd be ridiculously hard. But yeah, no, I think it's funny. I was saying to Joe throughout the competition, it's almost like we've got the most VIP tickets to watch like the top gymnasts in the world. I was saying like we are so close to watching, like we're literally a few meters away from like the best gymnast in the world, and we get to watch it. Like, it's so cool.
He doesn't give himself the credit. He doesn't believe that he's one of the best gymnasts in the world. He thinks we had front row tickets to watch the best gymnasts in the world. But sometimes I have to remind him, like, Jake, you are one of the best gymnasts in the world.
Just competing with them though, it's cool. It's a good feeling.
Massive floor routine and massive vault routine. You were in those finals later in the week. Has this given you a lot of confidence going in there that you could be getting those gold medals?
I mean, it definitely gives me a lot of confidence to be able to do the floor and vault consistently so far at these past few days. It's reassuring. It shows me that I'm not just doing it by fluke. So no, it's great. I hope that I can replicate that in the finals, obviously.
Yeah, Great Britain's gymnasts staying in positive mood. The women's 1500 metres freestyle is underway here at the La Défense Arena. Is Katie Ledecky the woman to beat, Alistair Bruce-Ball?
100% swimming royalty in the pool. Katie Ledecky, you can see already we're only 3 lengths in. This is a long race, 30 lengths of freestyle. She's the Olympic champion. She's the world record holder. This event only came into the Olympics in Tokyo last time. But these races, she just absolutely dominates. And I think the rest of the field, Karen Pickering, are really racing for second place, aren't they? In fact, the other interesting thing is her closest challenger at the moment is a French woman, Anastasia Kirpichnikova. So there is home interest in the race, actually, which will keep it buzzing in the arena, particularly if Ledecky gets away and absolutely destroys the field.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, she is just massively dominant in this event. She holds 19 fastest times in history at the 1500 metres freestyle, and she comes into this with a time some 20 seconds faster than her closest rival. And the last Olympics, she won by 4 seconds, and everyone thought, oh, that was a bit close. That is her dominance. So 4 seconds is a close race for her.
The other thing I was just going to say, Kelly, if Katie Ledecky wins this race, and, you know, barring something calamitous, I'm pretty sure she's going to, it will be an 8th Olympic gold medal, a 7th in an individual event. And I've done some very basic research just before we came on air tonight. I think, I could be wrong, I think there are only 2 people in the history of the Olympics who have won more than 7 golds in an individual event. So you don't count relays, you don't count team stuff and whatever. I'm not just talking swimming. Michael Phelps is obviously one. The other name was Ray Urey, who was an American athlete at the start of the 20th century. 8 golds, but 7 in an individual event is something pretty rare and pretty special.
The description of this in the New York Times of this event, Karen, was Jenny Frentas, who was writing. She said, for every other competitor nearly, it might be the single worst event in the Olympic programme, a lung-busting, muscle-burning, 15-plus minute torture test in which they hit the water knowing that they're essentially swimming for second place because Katie Ledecky is so far ahead of the rest of the field.
Yeah, and she's just dominated for so long, and you know, she burst onto the scene really as in London 2012, which was frustrating for the British spectators who were really hoping to see Becky Adlington in the 800, and this kid came along as a 15-year-old and then has never looked back. She is quite extraordinary, and to be able to stay dominant in an event where the training is so grueling. This is not an event where you can just decide to switch and do more land training or cut back as you get older. You have to put the meters in. But what she has done is change things up, so her turns have improved. She's improved the skills where she can't do more work in the pool.
They've swum 400 metres, Kelly, and Ledecky is already a good few body lengths clear, but there's a really good race for the other medals at the moment. Kirpichnikova of France is in second, Simona Quadarella of Italy, and Isabel Gursa of Germany, and those 4 have pretty much gone clear of the field.
And Ali and Karen will keep you up to date with everything that happens in that race. BMX rider Kieran Riley dazzled crowds as he won silver in the freestyle event. The Gateshead-born 23-year-old scored 93.7 in his first run, 93.91 in his second. They take the better of those 2, and that secured Team GB's 5th medal of the day. Performance director at British Cycling, Stephen Park, is with us now. Stephen, good evening.
Good evening.
And thank you so much for joining us. So it was the World Championships in Glasgow last year. He came away as world champion from that. So coming into this Olympics, Kieran Riley will have had expectations of going for gold. How do you think he feels about the silver?
Kieran's over the moon about getting a medal. I think that one of the things about BMX freestyle is that when you actually get to that final, pretty much anybody in that final 9, if they're able to pull off their best run on the day, they have the capability of winning the gold medal. The French was definitely the favourite for this event. Jean, he has won pretty much every event in 2024. He won both of the events in the qualifying series in both Budapest and in Shanghai, but clearly had a huge amount of home pressure and expectation to be able to deliver the gold medal on his home turf.
Yeah, and as much as any of these sports here at the Olympics, it comes down to those fine details that you talked about. But Kieran is such an innovator in the sport. I was there watching it today, and all the talk was whether we would see the triple flare, whether that he would bring that one out.
Well, there's lots of different tricks that the riders are trying to deploy. But of course, like most judge sports, it's not just about one aspect. It's not just about who can pull off the biggest trick, but also about how they use the park, the way that they actually deliver the tricks, how clean they are, and how they utilise all the features around the park. And in fact, some people might have looked at the competition and felt that some tricks from some riders were perhaps even better or bigger than Torres Gill, who won, or indeed Kieran. But ultimately it's about how they're able to put the tricks together, how they're able to read the line of the course, and how they're able to then deploy it all together through the course of the competition.
Stephen, I'll be back to you in just a second. If you wouldn't mind holding on, we're at the halfway stage. Alistair Bruce-Ball.
Closing in on the halfway stage. Katie Ledecky a good 4 seconds out in front. The Frenchwoman Kopychnikova is still her closest challenger. That's why you can hear the roars going around the stadium. They're desperate for her to win a medal. The other challengers up there for these medals, Karen Pickering, Simona Quadarella of Italy, and Isabel Gerser of Germany. But this is a masterclass again from Ledecky, isn't it?
It absolutely is, and she's some 10 metres clear. Kopychnikova is hanging on, but it really is a battle between Quadarella and Goza in third place, and that is brutal on a 1500. 4 swimmers, 3 medals, knowing that they're going to have a fight in the closing stages of this race, much like we saw in the men's 800 metres. A sprint finish at the end of the 1500, that hurts.
Yeah, someone's going to go through a lot of pain and end up with absolutely nothing. Katie Ledecky, I'm pretty sure, is going to end up with another gold medal.
We'll come back to you if and when that happens. Stephen, thank you very much for holding on for us. The action never stops at the Olympics, but we were talking about Kieran Riley's silver medal in the BMX freestyle event. Just give me an idea of the levels of dedication to get to this level. These guys are just performing at such extraordinary levels, and the amount of practice it puts into, as we were talking about that triple flare, and the amount of work that goes in just to getting to the stage where you can land it, let alone incorporate it into the routine, is extraordinary.
Exactly, and that's the challenge, is to be able to do tricks that are technically difficult but be able to pull them off, because if you don't land them correctly, or if you put your foot down, then effectively that's your run over. That's why you get 2 runs and you count the best score in the final. So ultimately all of the riders are trying to learn new tricks, they're trying to push the boundaries of what's possible, but in that process naturally that means they have to take a lot of hits. So believe it or not, the riders have to get pretty comfortable with hitting the floor when they're trying these tricks. First they'll try them on big ramps into foam pits, then they'll try them onto what we call resi, which is a rubberized downslope when they come off, and then they do it on the main wood course. But ultimately, as we've seen today, the level of the tricks that a lot of the riders are trying to pull off are so difficult that they don't always get it right. And under the pressure of the Olympic Games, as we know, with the world watching, sometimes that pressure is what makes even the best riders unable to deliver the trick under pressure and perform at their best. Kieran, however, did that excellently today. He did it excellently in training, and he really has performed incredibly well across the games here in Paris.
And Stephen, when they get to the finals, they take the better of the 2 runs that the BMXers put in. How do they decide where to take the risk? I mean, actually, Kieran's were very consistent in terms of the scores, with 93.7 and then 93.91. But there were a couple of riders where you can see that they've decided just to either go for it in the second one, or they front load it with that first run.
Quite. So they get 2 opportunities. So normally most of them, if they think they've got a chance of winning and they're confident about their run, they will actually try and deliver the pre-planned run. So before they get to the course, they understand what tricks they're going to do, how they're going to ride the park, and they will actually try and deliver that run. And if they get that down the first time, as Kieran did, then they can try and push a little bit harder in the second one. If they're a little bit less confident, they might try and get a banker in, so they might try and just get a run that they know maybe is good enough for them to get themselves on the board. But as I say, with that top 9 riders, because they all on their day have the ability to deliver some fantastic tricks, pretty much most of them are trying to deliver their very best run, and they know that if they can get that run completed cleanly and have a good use of the park, then they're in a chance of delivering medals. So if you watch Kieran, you will actually see that the 2 runs are incredibly similar, because he's actually trying to deliver his best run and just to try and improve on the second run for a number of different tricks. He had the advantage, of course, because his first run was so good, and he was the last rider to go today, that he knew that he'd already secured the bronze medal. So he was then just looking to clean it up just enough to be able to pip the Argentinian and take the gold medal. As it happens, that wasn't quite good enough today, but it was certainly good enough to knock the French down into the bronze medal position and take the silver.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic to watch as well. Stephen, thank you so much for your time this evening.
No problem at all.
Thank you very much to Stephen Park, Performance Director at British Cycling. And actually, there was a bit of a mini team swimming outing to the BMX earlier today, but we are back at the pool and watching the women's 1500 metres freestyle. Alistair Bruce Paul.
Yeah, it was so hot out there. I went under-prepared with no sun cream and no hat, and I had to borrow our producer's cagoule and basically use it as a shawl to protect myself from the sun. I look absolutely...
always glamorous.
Ridiculous. Katie Ledecky in total control. We've got just over 7 lengths to go of the women's 1500 metre freestyle final. She is on her way to an 8th Olympic gold medal and a 7th in an individual event. Her lead is still 10 metres or so. The French fans hugely excited because Anastasia Kopichnikova is still in the silver medal position, and then close to her, a couple of metres away, are Simona Quadarella and Isabel Gursa. For the first 500 metres, Karen Pickering, Katie Ledecky was on world record pace. She has fallen off that, but this is another totally dominant swim.
Yeah, it is, and she has the ability to take a race on really hard. You know, she's one of the swimmers who has a very fast 200 metres freestyle, so she has the pace as well as being able to go right up to the 1500 metres, and that's rarer in female swimming than it is in male swimming. It's the norm now for distance swimmers to need that pace. She is rare in female swimming that she can swim at both ends of the spectrum of freestyle.
It's beautiful to watch. Just over 5 lengths to go. Stephen Parry, I can feel the pain from up here.
Well, you'd be right to. 1500 metres is an absolutely gruelling event. And this is a thing of beauty, isn't it, from Katie Ledecky? It is a procession. She's so far ahead of the rest of the best swimmers in the world. I mean, it must be up to 10 metres now. And I can't believe the longevity of her career. She's done this since 2013. She's held the world record since 2013. But as you said before, Alan, it's her. And then there's a race for the minor medals.
Yeah, by the way, I looked up a little bit more about Ray Urey while we were chatting other things there. The American athlete from the turn of the 20th century. He won all his gold medals in the standing high jump, the standing long jump, and the standing triple jump. 8 gold medals in individual events. Michael Phelps has more than that. But here, Katie Ledecky is going for her incredible 7th gold in an individual event. 3.5 lengths to go. She is stretching her lead. It is a majestic performance. Anastasia Kopichnikova, the Frenchwoman, is still in the silver medal position, but she is not clear yet. Quadarella of Italy and Isabella Gursa are chasing her. And actually, they have swum for the last 25 lengths in almost exactly the same positions, Karen Pickering, and Ledecky is continuing to go away from them.
Yeah, exactly right. I almost want Quadarella and Goza to hit the wall at the same time at this point. I can't bear the thought of one of them missing out on a medal.
So just over 2 lengths to go. We're heading towards the last 100 metres. Katie Ledecky, the gold medal is waiting for her once again. Swimming royalty. She turns and heads off on her last 2 lengths of the pool, and she sees her closest challengers coming past her. They're absolutely miles behind. We've had chance of Allez Les Bleus. Plenty on the line here for Anastasia Kopichnikova for France, swimming for the silver medal, and we still have Léon Marchand going for that incredible double later on in the pool tonight. But at the moment, It is a coronation once again for Katie Ledecky. Just over 50 metres to go. Hits the turn. She's on her way to goal, Karen Pickering.
Yeah, she sees the sign at the end of the pool that says 1 length. She turns and she actually has found some extra pace. There's splash on that kick. She is breathing to her right. She can see the crowd.
Katie Ledecky, 25 metres to go. The gold medal is in the bag. It's going to be an 8th in an incredible career. The race is on for silver, and Kapichnikova's closest challenger is Quadarella of Italy. It's Gosa actually going past Quadarella. Here's Ledecky, touches the wall and gets the gold. We knew she would. She's done it again. It's an Olympic record. She punches the water in delight. The French fans go wild again tonight. Kapichnikoova, what a swim, takes the silver, and it's the German Isabel Gosa who takes the bronze medal, and poor old Simona Quadarella, after all that effort, all that pain, ends up 4th in the Olympic final. Stephen Parry, the result really was never in any doubt, but it's fabulous to watch world-class swimming like that again and again and again.
Well, we really have been treated tonight. I can't believe what we've just seen there. Ledecky, aged 27, you know, she's in the twilight of her swimming career. She's doing the toughest event there is, the one that requires the most stamina, and she's still breaking Olympic records. You know, she's really been turned over by the likes of Ariana Titmus, the 400 moving into a new dawn, but she still owns this event, and she looks like she could go to LA at 31 and win the 1500 metres.
I think Kapichnikoova, Karen, the Frenchwoman is very, very emotional. She's absolutely delighted. She is bright red in the face. She looks a bit like I did at the BMX earlier on today. What a swim from her.
Yeah, absolutely delighted. She was swimming for Russia at the last Olympic Games, switched nationality, and in front of a home crowd for her has brought home the silver medal, and that must be pretty special. But I got to spare a moment for the Italian, Simona Quadarella, who works so hard.
Katie Ledecky is loving that. She's out of the pool, and again she's clenching her fists. I can see the Stars and Stripes flags dotted around the arena. The American swimmers are always well supported wherever they go. And a really good point actually, Kelly, about Kapichnikoova. Born in Russia, moved to France in 2019 and switched nationalities last year. So swam in this event in Tokyo under a different flag, but swimming for France in a home games has won a silver medal.
And that has absolutely delighted this crowd, who are already at fever pitch here in the La Défense Arena. I mean, this event, Karen, is it's 2 races, isn't it? It's Katie Ledecky against herself and everyone else for silver and bronze.
Yeah, and you know, despite the fact that she's so dominant and she just had to almost turn up and go through the motions to get the gold medal, she didn't. She swam it faster than she won in Tokyo. You know, she came in a slow pool that might be too long. She swam faster than she has in an Olympics before, and just the measure of the woman that she's gone under 1540. Only one other woman has ever done that, and that's the 24th time she's now done that. It's just so impressive. She doesn't just turn up and race, which she could. She always means business, and you can see what it means to her.
But has she talked about the motivation to be constantly competing against herself, against her own records, about racing against the clock? We've mentioned it before, Steve, in terms of Adam Peaty, when he was so dominant in his event, where you think, well, when you go training, you're not racing against anyone, you're racing against yourself, you're racing against the clock.
The only reason Katie Ledecky is that dominant is because she works harder than anyone else in the world. You know, there's no show ponies in the 1500 metres freestyle. You get some 50 swimmers that can spend more time in the gym than they do in the pool, and they win races. That isn't true of 800 metre and 1500 metre swimmers. They've got to work hard every day, putting in 100,000 metres every week to get it done. What's been amazing about tonight is on the female side of the event, the veterans have done the job. Sarah Sjostrom winning the 100 free at 30, Katie Ledecky still dominating at 27, and Milak's still got a face like thunder here, by the way, sitting next to Leon.
We will come on to that, because Katie Ledecky then with gold. It was a silver for France in the women's 1500 metres free, but the hero of the night is Léon Marchand. It could get even better for him. He's already won the men's 200 metres butterfly. He could go for the men's 200 metres breaststroke. It's never been done that any person at an Olympics has won both of these events. Nobody's ever been on the podium in both these events. He's going to try and do it in the same night as he goes for 4 individual gold medals at these Olympic Games, and he's about to get his first gold medal of the evening. Alistair Bruce-Ball.
He's a slightly smaller, slighter man than the other two standing next to him, but he's still an incredibly impressive athlete. 19-year-old Ilya Karoun of Canada. Fabulous swim from him. And he inspects his bronze medal. He has it hung around his neck. Very special medals these. Very heavy medals these. As Stephen Parry was telling us, he gets given his map of Paris in a cardboard box as well. And Christoph Milak does not look best pleased at the moment. The face has not changed throughout the entirety of the evening. He put in a fabulous swim, Steve Parry. He just couldn't hold Marchand off.
No, Marchand was just too good tonight. And Kelly made a great point, although tongue-in-cheek. This is a slow pool, and he's broken the Olympic record against Milak. That's what makes it all the more impressive. He's not fussed about this medal at all, is he?
Well, he leaned across there and he shook the hand of Karoun. I didn't see if he shook the hand of Marchand, but Marchand is about to step on the podium, so he may do it then. Christoph Milak is a fabulous swimmer, there is no doubt about that, but he met an unstoppable force tonight, and there's a slight smile, a trace of a smile from the Hungarian. Here are the chants for Léon Marchand. He nods in appreciation. What a lovely boyish smile that spreads across his face. He's loving every minute of this, and he is going to go for this incredible double this evening. Arms aloft onto the top of the podium. We've already seen him there once during this Games. This the second time, and it could well be a third time this evening as well. The gold medal is hung around his neck. A swimming superstar, swimming in front of his home fans. Lovely shot there of the French fans with the tricolours up and the scarves up and the French football shirts there in the crowd behind him. And I think the fans in here are very much going to enjoy the rendition of La Marseillaise. The flags are ready to be lofted high away to our left-hand side at one end of the pool. The medalists away to our right, a good 75 metres away. Marchand nods. He cannot keep the smile off his face, and he wants to keep doing this again and again and again. He's soaking it up, and he's clapping the French fans. Another gold medal, potentially the first of two tonight. A rousing rendition of La Marseillaise, but he can't bother with too much of this, Kelly Cates, all the photos and the thank yous and the plaudits and whatever, because in less than an hour he's got to swim for another one.
Do you know, I can't stop watching Milak, because I think if I were in that position I'd be exactly the same. He cannot force his face into a smile, and it's an indication of, one, how competitive he is, and two, how big an upset this was. But Léon Marchand has taken the gold medal, Milak with the silver, Karoun with the gold, with the bronze in this race, in the men's 200 metres butterfly. And as you said, round about 9:30, Léon Marchand goes again in the men's 200 metres breaststroke. Been a really good day for Team GB. They've taken 5 medals, including the first gold of the day, which came in the men's triathlon. Alex Yee with a sensational sprint finish to claim the win. And we can bring in one of the men who inspired Alex Yee, 2-time Olympic gold medalist Alistair Brownlee is with us right now. And Alistair, you're at the pool watching Léon Marchand.
I am. What an evening. Well, what a day. What a great day of sport. And the pool is amazing today. I think one of by far the best atmosphere I've ever been to in a swimming pool. Absolutely brilliant.
It's incredible, isn't it? And obviously La Marseillaise is such a fantastic national anthem, but it isn't the national anthem that was played in the triathlon ceremony earlier on for Alex Yee. You must have been, like everyone else, thinking it was gone for him, and then from nowhere he pulled out that extraordinary finish.
Yeah, I absolutely was. I saw him with a lap to go, and I was surprised that Hayden Wild had run away from him, to be honest. And I saw him with that 2.5 kilometre lap to go and gave him a cheer and thought, I think he's got second here, and I think he probably knows it. But yeah, to see him come back in the last kilometre was just brilliant. Yeah, fantastic. It's fully deserved.
And we've watched you and your brother Johnny compete in exactly that same way, that level of determination as you get towards the finish line. And in fact, Alex, he has talked about how you both inspired him.
Yeah, well, triathlon's, to state the obvious, is a pretty hard sport, and to win at the Olympic level, I think you ultimately need that determination, and Alex has definitely got it, and yeah, it's been fantastic that I've been able to inspire him a little bit as well. It was brilliant day this morning to watch Beth get a bronze first in the women's race, and then watch Alex straight afterwards as well was really special.
Yeah, and Beth Potter said the Brownlees have been a massive part of my journey. They're the reason I moved to triathlon. She trains with you day in, day out, and you're a big part of her story as well, aren't you?
Yeah, I've just been able to just help Beth where I can, to be honest. I've played a small part. She very much goes out and does all the hard work, and there's the grit and determination that you can only respect and admire. And I've just tried to help her where I can, really, little bits and pieces. And yeah, we train together most days. Yeah, it's been a real privilege just to help her a little bit where I can.
And Alistair, bearing in mind you're probably talking to an audience of 99% of whom will never even attempt a triathlon, what kind of advice are you able to give to Beth? What are the sort of pieces of advice? Is it about the competition day itself? Is it, for example, about the delayed start that we've seen to this year's competition? Are those the sort of areas that you can advise her on?
Well, I think so. I think firstly to your audience, I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't say that actually, no, the vast majority of people can do triathlon. You can enter a sprint or a sprint distance or super sprint distance, whatever it is, for fun, for charity, to get fit. That's been a massive change over the 20 years that I've been involved in triathlon. So please, don't think about entering one and give it a go just for fun. As maybe as crazy as that sounds, I promise it can be fun.
Yeah, not everyone has to be an Olympic gold medalist.
Absolutely not. Yeah. It's about getting fit, keeping healthy, having goals. It's brilliant for all of those things. But yeah, in terms of Beth, she quite an incredible story to come from the Rio Olympic Games as a runner. She actually then decided to focus on triathlon and moved in with Johnny. And yeah, we've just supported a little bit along the way, really. Both Johnny and I in the last few years, I guess given her a bit more specific guidance, and she came to me a few years ago and said, I need to be in a place where I can win a medal in Paris, basically. And I talked her through my ideas of what she needed to do to get there in terms of kind of high level strategy and the more granular detail of bike sessions and the amount she needed to do and the type of training and the approach to racing. And it's kind of it's all come to fruition today, so it's been a great day.
As to when we've seen all the delays and whether it might happen, it might not happen, I think the athletes learned in the early hours of the morning, or they woke up and found out whether or not it would be taking place because of the issues with the water in the Seine. One of the questions that we've just been asking amongst ourselves, amongst our kind of Five Live crew, is how often does that happen? How much is that a part of it?
It's rare, to be honest. Very rare. I don't think it's happened maybe once in my whole career, when we're talking hundreds of races. So it's rare. Obviously, at the Olympic level, it's unheard of. I can only empathise with what the athletes were like, what it was like for the men going to bed on Monday night, not knowing whether they were going to compete in a triathlon the next morning, and then doing it all over again last night and still holding it together and competing like that today. After years and years of preparation, going to bed where you've tried to prepare perfectly, going to bed and not knowing whether you're going to race that race tomorrow is tough. no doubt about that. So yeah, it is tough, but I think my view on it is ultimately that you've kind of got a trade-off that if you want triathlon in city centres and spectacular locations where you get incredible crowds like we saw today, you've got a risk. The water quality is a risk, and that's a trade-off that you make. And the longer term view is, that risk was driven towards using the kind of legacy of cleaning up the Seine as well. And the risk didn't come off yesterday, and it was difficult, but I think it came off today, and it really was spectacular. As everyone who was there, seeing the enormous crowds on the side of the course and the noise was something special.
Yeah, Karen Pickering, who's sitting alongside me, was there as well, and commented just on how electric the atmosphere was and how everybody had planned their parts of the route that they wanted to get to make sure they were there to cheer those athletes on. And it's such an important part of Olympic sport, particularly after we had Tokyo last time out, for athletes to be able to compete in front of these super supportive crowds. And it worked for Team GB with a bronze and a gold medal in the triathlon. And Alistair, thank you so much for joining us to talk about it.
No, thank you very much for having me. I'll get back to my seat and watch some more swimming now. Thank you.
We'll see if we can see you and give you a wave.
Yeah, thanks very much.
Thanks very much, Alistair Brownlee there, two-time Olympic gold medalist, and just timed very nicely because we're about to head in to the men's 200 metres backstroke semi-finals. Alistair Bruce Ball.
Yeah, so much more quality swimming still to come tonight on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. We hope you're enjoying it. 21-year-old Ollie Morgan's going to go for Great Britain in the first semi-final here. 2 semi-finals, got to be in the 8 fastest swimmers across the 2 to make it through to the final. Should just remind you as well that Laura Stevens has made it through to the women's 200 metres butterfly final, qualifying 8 fastest. So Ollie Morgan is out. He's just been introduced to the crowd. He's at his blocks, just checking everything is as he wants it. Should mention, Stephen Parry, before this race gets underway, Luke Greenbank possibly could have been in these semi-finals tonight, and unfortunately in the qualification heats this morning swam extremely well, got out of the pool, was really pleased with the swim, looked up, and then to his horror realised he'd been disqualified for being under the water from the start for too long. Devastating for him.
Yeah, not only devastating for him, but devastating for Team GB as well, because, Luke was a bronze medalist last time at the Olympic Games, and he looked really in form this morning as well. He would have been one of the fastest qualifiers through. I do find it amazing how you can get it that wrong at his level. I mean, we're taught from age groupers you can't go beyond 15 metres, and he was about a foot past it as well. I just wonder if it was the adrenaline, he was underwater a little bit too long, and that's what took him past. But huge, he looked absolutely devastated.
Yeah, he did.
But it's a blow for him, and it's a blow for GB because there's a medal on.
He had to drag himself from the pool side. He should really have been in one of these semi-finals, and that's a tough thing to take. Adrenaline, do you think, Karen, possibly that forced the mistake?
Possibly, or just got the start wrong, so was too deep and was working his way back up. But either way, it's a huge error to make on the biggest of stages.
So those are the voices of former Olympians Stephen Parry and Karen Pickering, get it out eventually, with us here at the Olympic pool in the Paris La Défense arena. Léon Marchand will swim again in less than an hour's time, trying to do an unprecedented double. After he'd received his gold medal, the other 2 winners of the medals did their sort of lap of honour around the arena here, but Marchand was not with them, disappeared immediately to go and get ready for the next final. So the first semi-final of the men's 200 metres backstroke. Thomas Chekon of Italy, lane 1. Lee Ju-ho, South Korea, in lane 2. Hugo Gonzalez of Spain in lane 3. Lucas Martins of Germany, already a gold medalist at these games, in lane 4. The Hungarian Hubert Kos in 5. Hidekazu Takahara of Japan in 6. Our eyes on Ollie Morgan, the 21-year-old, the British champion in both the 100 metres and 200 metres. He finished 8th in the 100-metre final here. He's in lane 7, and Adam Telegdi of Hungary in 8. So now the swimmers use that ledge to get in position. Shortly, when they take their marks, they will launch their bodies out of the water like so. There goes the gun, and away they go, and they do drop deep, and you've got to surface before the 15 metres, and they do all do that. And Ollie Morgan has made a good start in lane 7. Out in front at the moment, it looks like the Hungarian Hubert Kos.
Yeah, that was a good start. Much better from Ollie Morgan than in the 100 backstroke, and also a great start for Thomas Chekon, the Italian, who won the 100 metres backstroke. He is better as a 100 swimmer and good at fly and freestyle as well. It's less usual to see him over the 200 metres, and he is in lane 1, but he's the master of just doing enough to get through the rounds.
That sounds like the Italian football team at major tournaments when it goes well for them. Hubert Koss in lane 5, the leader at the moment. And Ollie Morgan was in second at the turn. Smooth, steady backstroke from him. 10 metres or so to go. Then the next turn. Then 100 metres to go. Hubert Koss will be first at this turn, followed by the German Martins, then Hugo Gonzalez. And I'm looking at Ollie Morgan just surfacing now, and Hubert Koss has a good lead in this race, and the rest of them are pretty much shoulder to shoulder.
Hubert Koss trains alongside Leon Marchand, coached by Bob Baumann. And you can see those skills that Marchand shows on the underwater work. Koss as well, really, really powerful, using the fly kicks on every turn.
Just over 50 metres to go. Koss will turn first. He spins in the water, disappears, and then we just see the shape of his body gliding under the water. Such power and speed, and then he emerges. At the moment, Ollie Morgan is falling back and is well out of this. Hubert Koss is still out in front. His closest challengers, the German Lucas Martins to his left, Hugo Gonzalez as well, and Karen called it. Thomas Chekon, the Italian, suddenly steps on the gas in the last 50 metres. He is now up to second place as the swimmers all have about 5 or so metres to go. Koss will get the touch in first place. Koss is the fastest qualifier there. Ollie Morgan in 6th, Chekon actually in 4th, Martins the German in 2nd, and Gonzalez of Spain in 3rd. Karen.
Yeah, very lazy finish there from Thomas Chekon. Just reached and glided down for the wall, and he slipped from 2nd to 4th, so he'll have a slightly more nervous wait than he will have wanted.
Steve?
Oh, it was quality, wasn't it? It was just brilliant to watch Hubert Koss there from Hungary. It was just a masterclass. I think that's going to be a fantastic race tomorrow night. Zhu, the Chinaman this morning, he pulled out of this race. He actually got a medal last time, and I think that really opens that up tomorrow night to the rest of this field.
Ryan Murphy, the American, will swim in the second semi-final. You'd imagine that he would make it through. 2 Frenchmen on the way as well, Kelly, so we know what's coming there in the second semi-final. Muan Tomac and Johan Ndoye Brouard. But for Great Britain there, Ollie Morgan, the 6th fastest qualifier, and it's the 8th fastest that make it through to the final, so that looks unlikely.
Ali, you know that Ollie Morgan's got this fan zone set up in Bishop's Castle, which is his hometown. You'd love to be there. Do you know why? One of the things that Bishop's Castle is famous for is a certain type of beer. They're famous for their pale ale.
Oh, I do enjoy a pale ale,
You
Kelly.
do enjoy a pale ale. I've noticed that about you, Alistair. So hopefully they're enjoying watching him in the fan park in Bishop's Castle, but it is going to be a tense wait, and it doesn't look great at the moment for Ollie Morgan, but should he qualify, obviously we will let you know. Team GB even finally had a winner in the boxing. Lewis Richardson beat Serbia's Vakid Abbasov, and Lewis has been speaking to Steve Bunce.
First of all, congratulations on winning an Olympic fight and coming out looking so fresh. In fact, you've got about 5 years younger. You have no stress on your face now.
Feeling extremely fresh. Now over the moon to get the first one out of the way. Obviously, you know, people are aware it's been a difficult time for the GB boxers. It's been extremely close decisions, and that was another one there. But, you know, I got the rubber to green on that decision, but I'm extremely proud, extremely grateful, and yeah, fresh and ready to go.
I mean, I know it was split. I know it was tight on points, but I want to say this, and you won it comfortably in an odd kind of way. You know what I mean by that?
I felt like I did.
Yeah. Look at your face.
Yeah. Well, say no more. Face for radio or what?
Oh, no, that's me, son. Don't get cheeky now.
But no, yeah, I felt like I won the fight. It was closer than, yeah, well, the scorecard suggests it was extremely close, but obviously we've seen results not go our way, but I was just extremely grateful to get a decision on that one.
You talked about, we all know what's been happening. What's it been like inside that camp? Because, you know, it's been really hard. 3-2s, 1 point separating everybody, boxing the number ones in the world. Yeah. That's been tough for you, I would imagine.
Well, yeah, we've had an extremely tough draw. All of us have boxed world medalists, European medalists, continental medalists, you know, every single one of us. So none of us has had sort of an easy first fight. But this Olympics, this boxing sort of cycle, that sort of is a testament to how hard this Olympic cycle is. But no, I'm feeling extremely good, extremely grateful, and ready to go quarterfinals. One fight away from winning myself an Olympic medal.
Is it like a weight off your shoulders now that you've got away from the gloom, you've got the win, you haven't got a mark on you, barely broke a sweat?
Well, we broke the curse, haven't we? And I've been waiting around, you know, for a good few days now, and I'm seeing
a few years now.
Yeah, seeing decisions not go our way. But my experience, my professionalism, I think shone through there, and yeah, it's a testament to myself, I believe, for staying composed, staying focused, and even I lost that first round 3-2, but I stayed disciplined, stuck to my game plan, and was able to come out with a win.
And just 3 seconds on Cindy Ngamba.
Oh, listen, we need more than 3 seconds. Unbelievable talent, and her story will get told worldwide. I can't wait to watch her film one day.
That was Lewis Richardson talking to Steve Bunce. Buncey said there he feels like he's broken the curse on Team GP. I mean, that gives you, I know it's a bit dramatic and he's sort of being quite playful with it, but it gives you an idea of just how much the results were starting to feed into the mentality.
I think he was only half playing, if you want my honest opinion. I think there's a lot to it. I think it's been doom and gloom inside that camp. One person goes down, everyone loves her, Charlie Davison, the fighting mum. She gets a bad decision and it just snowballs from there. You've seen me late at night. I've not been myself. It's got to me. It's got to people. And inside that camp, the sense of relief when his hand was raised in another tight decision would be fantastic. I just wish that was after 2 defeats, because the others would have picked up on it. I can't tell you enough. These 3-2 defeats, the 4 of them have suffered. There were 5 judges at ringside, and there were 3 rounds in the boxing. If just one of the judges in one of those 4 fights had scored a point to the GB boxer, we'd only have 1 loser now. We'd have 5 winners and 1 loser, not 5 losers and 1 winner.
Yeah, and you're right. It's come down to such fine margins as well. But what we do know is that Lewis Richardson has made sure of the win. Galal Yafai joined us just after he'd finished, and he said he thinks that Lewis Richardson can win a medal. What do you think?
Absolutely can win a medal. He's fighting a guy in his next fight who's had to fight twice, and he's had to be in 2 slugfests, a guy from Jordan called Zayed Issash. And I am assuring you that Lewis has the pedigree, all of the years, 10 years of competing at top junior, top senior level, beating and losing and fighting and competing with the best in the world. If his head's right on Sunday when he fights the guy from Jordan, he wins that, he gets a medal. And I think, no, he fights on Saturday. It's Cindy, who fights on Sunday.
Yeah, because it's worth remembering that both losing semi-finalists get a medal. There isn't a kind of, bronze medal playoff fight or whatever. You will get a bronze if you get to the semi-final. So he's 1 win away from at least a bronze, having qualified for the quarters.
He's 1 win away, and I don't want to curse it to use that word again, but that'll be the first fight our boxers have had here where they go into it, I would say, as a mild favourite. Go figure that one. And mind you, he's got a cool head. He's got a massive backstory of suffering. He had to have 366 days out. He thought his Olympic dreams were finished. He missed the first qualifier, which was quotes unquote the easiest qualifier. He's had to suffer an awful lot. Looked like he might turn his back on the sport. Here he is today, bouncing off the ceiling. And talk about raising the mood. I'm going to point out something to you, Kelly. There are an awful lot of British journalists here and British people from different companies here who came here today to do a hatchet job. A hatchet job. No, I'm talking. I had to really control myself and come back up here and sit with Connor, who was massaging my shoulders for 5 minutes to calm me down. And actually, I'm not kidding. I'm telling you the truth.
No, I believe you, and I can well imagine that's exactly what happened. But with the idea that they were there and they sort of wanted Lewis Richardson to lose so that they could write a piece on the demise of British boxing at the Olympics.
Absolutely. If you've gone from gold medals, winning the most medals, all of that glory stuff, suddenly you get 6 people here, and no one was talking before the Olympics that 6 of them could crash out without a win. Of course they haven't. It was 5-0, and there are enough British journalists sitting in the stands around me with their fingers crossed going, come on. And I don't know about you, I'm not sure I like that. I'm not saying I'm not calling the royal we the GB team. I'm not part of the GB team. I haven't even got a tracksuit, don't get me wrong. But come on, you can't sit here and hope that the British boxer loses, because that improves your story. I'm going to say it now, that's a disgrace.
There's an Irish boxer up next for you. You mentioned Conor McNamara. I heard him chuckling alongside you when he got a mention there. And you and Conor are going to take us through Aoife O'Rourke's fight.
Yeah, thanks, Kelly. Aoife O'Rourke from Castlereagh, County Roscommon. This is the women's 75 kilogram division, the middleweight, the heaviest women's weight at these games. And I know that this fight has been shown on a big screen in the town of Castlereagh tonight. There's never been an Olympic medalist from County Roscommon. This is a big, big deal in that part of the world. She's up against Polish fighter Elizabeta Wojcik. Now, these two know each other well. It's the 7th time that they've met in the last 5 years, and the form book is firmly in the Irish girls' favour. Aoife O'Rourke has beaten Wojcik in all 6 before tonight. Win here, and she will be going through to the quarterfinals at the Olympic Games. She's been given a bye, O'Rourke, into this round. So this, Bunsey, is her first appearance here in Paris. We know to the body language and how people look. She came out very composed, not dancing around. But now that she's in the ring, she's up on the toes and she's ready to go.
Focus, because bizarrely, she's the one that's under pressure. Because the Polish girl's got nothing to lose. Aoife's got to prove that she can do it. And you saw that first 20 seconds.
Wow.
Wojcik came out like it was the last 10 seconds of a 15-rounder.
Greyhound out of trap 6 there for Elizabeta Wojcik, who came bounding across the ring to engage with Aoife O'Rourke, and these middleweight girls going at it in the centre of the ring, north of Paris here, in this game in which the winner would go through to the quarterfinal and be just one win away from a medal. That's how it works. Both beaten semi-finals get a bronze, so winning a quarter would guarantee a place on the podium. There's already been 5 Irish boxers eliminated in Paris without a win. O'Rourke is a 3-time European champion in the middleweight division. It's already been a good day as well for Ireland, with Kelly Harrington, the golden girl of the Team Ireland boxing team, guaranteed at least a bronze now because she's through to the semi-final, the reigning champion. But here we are focusing our attention on Aoife O'Rourke out of the blue corner, connecting with a really solid right there, and the Polish opponent puts her arms around the neck to try and slow things down.
Yeah, and Aoife will slow things down by moving her feet, not getting so close to Wojcik and making Wojcik come forward, and that's what Aoife does. Aoife's from this school of boxing that the Irish women are all from. It doesn't actually exist. It only exists in their minds. It only exists when they're in the gym. Katie Taylor, Kelly Harrington, the O'Rourke sisters, Lisa and Aoife. These are good fighters. They're seasoned. They're internationally renowned, and they're all capable, on their day, Conor, of winning a major medal.
Another big contact there as both boxers collided with punches at the same time. There's no bobbing and weaving here. There's no feinting. It's right into it. Combinations, jabs, hooks. They're scoring all the time and keeping the judges busy as both fighters connect again there. Wojcik beginning to get control of the centre of the ring, and now a little bit of dancing up on the toes from Aoife O'Rourke as she comes back with a response, and they go into a clutch again, and the referee's going to come across. He's just going to let them separate it out with a minute to go in round 1.
The one thing is, though, with the referee, he's breaking them up at the moment, but if he decides that one of them's responsible for that clinching, then they could be a second away from losing a point. So I would say to both of them, be careful.
Now, O'Rourke falls to the ground, and that was a stumble. Her own momentum from a punch, down onto her knees, immediately bouncing back up again. It won't be detrimental of the judges' scorecards at all, but it just shows Aoife O'Rourke's in a battle here against Elizabeth Wojcik, who's showing herself to be very sturdy in the centre of the ring. 30 seconds to go in round 1.
You know what? Wojcik's done absolutely the right thing. She stopped Aoife from working. She stopped her from doing it. Now, this is what I dreaded. Oh, that's exactly what I dreaded. Wojcik's got the warning. She's had a point taken off. That's good. Aoife can rest and take a breath.
Aoife O'Rourke was sent to a neutral corner there as the referee pointed towards the judges. So a point deduction for the Pole Wojcik. That will work in the favour of Aoife O'Rourke as the bell goes for the end of the first round. And there's no doubt that this is going to be a battle. Wojcik's discipline is going to be tested now, because having already dropped one, the referee's going to be on her case.
She's going to be on her case. She went back to the corner punching her fist. She's down. You can see quite massively. So when she won that round 10-9, one judge thinks, but you have to take a point off. So therefore, it becomes a 9-9 round. However, 3 of the judges believe that Aoife O'Rourke won, and that's normally 10-9, but then they take another point off, so it's 10-8. So basically, all Aoife O'Rourke's got to do is stay on her feet, not get involved, not get a point deducted, and win a couple of couple of rounds on a couple of... Sorry, win a couple of the rounds on a couple of scorecards. If I've made that complicated, I understand. It's late at night. It's been a long day. I've been at this venue for 10 hours.
We've already seen Rosie Eccles, her opponent, at a point deduction and still managed to beat the girl from Newport in Wales. So there is work to be done for Aoife O'Rourke here. Away we go in round 2. O'Rourke out of the blue corner, leading on the judges' scorecards. And work to be done by Elizabetha Wojcik as they go into a clinch once again. But even when they clinch, O'Rourke still goes to work, getting a bit of body work in, comes away, and this time the referee has a word with the Irish girl.
She's got to watch it, because even if she just momentarily clasps any part of Wojciech's body, the referee might give a counterpoint and take a point from her. If I'm Aoife O'Rourke here and I'm the corner, I'm telling her move. Aoife, move your feet. Have a little float around. Spend 20 seconds looking. Create some distance.
O'Rourke with the orthodox stance, southpaw for the pull Wojcik, and it means that they're squaring up to each other, and on so many occasions they both throw punches at the same time and they both land, as again Wojcik is the centre of the ring. That's a good combination. Right and a powerful left for the pole, swings out again with the right, and O'Rourke needs concentration here. 2 minutes to go in round 2.
There were just a couple of wild swings. She found the distance with those 2 swings. Don't worry, Aoife can get her boxing together, because that's what she does. That's what the entire Irish squad do. They're boxers. They're smart boxers.
This is 5 Live for the BBC at the North Paris Arena. Aoife O'Rourke of Ireland against Elizabetha Wojcik in the middleweight division. Wojcik, who won bronze at the European Games last year, but has always lost to O'Rourke whenever they've met in the past. O'Rourke out of the blue corner, up on her toes, dancing, lunges in to try and connect. And as has so often happened in this bout so far, they go into a clinch and the referee separates them. 90 seconds to go in round 2.
You know when someone beats someone a lot, okay, there is precedent for that being overturned. Mira Potkinen, a housewife, a mother from Finland, came out of retirement. I think she'd lost to Katie Taylor 7 times in 7 fights, and Katie Taylor lost to her, so it became 7-1 at the Rio Olympics. So it can happen. The losers have to raise their game in these events. The pressure is on the favourite in the case of this, and that's O'Rourke.
Referee has another word with Wojcik. There's no points deduction as O'Rourke just spins away back against the ropes. Wojcik pursues, and then a very strong right is landed by O'Rourke. That's a big connection that brings a roar from the Irish fans inside the arena here in North Paris. Decent response though from Wojcik as O'Rourke comes on the offensive again. They go to a clinch. She keeps trying to apply the bodywork. Her left hand is suspended above the shoulder of the pole, and the referee comes in to separate them again. 40 seconds to go in round 2.
That was smart of O'Rourke to lift her hand up to say, look, I'm not clinching, it's her, it's not me.
Oh,
still a hard round this, Connor.
Very interesting body language there from Wojcik. She got almost like Tyson Fury style. She put out her arms, said, come on, let's be having you. And I think trying to tell the judges that she's not the one forcing a lot of the clinches. Not sure if that's true, but that's the message that Wojcik is trying to give as they go into combat once again, and the arms tangle. And the fact we've got the right-handed boxer against the left-handed boxer, they're almost hooking and wrapping arms around each other time and time again. There's the hammer. 10 seconds to go in round 2. O'Rourke looking for the 1 or 2 extra points that could see her win the first 2 rounds in a row. There's the bell. Wojcik celebrates visibly again as O'Rourke, more subdued, goes to her corner. But that was a decent round for Aoife O'Rourke for Ireland.
It was a decent round, but they have given that round, 3 of the 5 judges have given that round to Wojcik. Now, now the points work like this. At the moment, three judges have Aoife O'Rourke in front, and 2 judges have Wojcik. I've given it to Wojcik. So it's 3-2 going into the last round. I don't need to tell you that all Aoife has to do is win this last round, but I will tell you. All Aoife has to do is win this last round.
The points deduction in the first round for Wojcik proving to be so costly. This is already a close tie. It would have been wafer thin had it not been for that point deduction, which is very much in the favour of Aoife O'Rourke for now. Right, here we go. Round 3. Looking for a place in the quarter-final of the women's middleweight division at the Paris Olympics. This is 5 Live for the BBC, and Aoife O'Rourke from County Roscommon in Ireland looking to make it a really good day for Team Ireland with a 2nd win in the ring, hoping to follow the exploits of Kelly Harrington once again. Again, it's that body language from Wojcik, holding out her arms, saying, come on, look, there she is doing it again. It's a real dramatic display from Wojcik, and Harrington needs to keep her head in the game and not be distracted by these antics.
We've talked all day about the people showing hand signals, showing signs to the referee, showing signs to the judges. Look, I've just landed a big right hand, then they lift it up. Look, I'm not hurt. Look, I'm pulling her in. There's a little bit of gamesmanship here. Aoife has to make sure she doesn't get a deduction for any of this ugly grappling.
Aoife O'Rourke, 3-time European champion. She's only lost once since the Tokyo Olympics 3 years ago when she was beaten in her first bout. But here she wants to stay on in Paris. She wants to enjoy the full experience here. And having won the first 2 rounds, Aoife O'Rourke could be on the verge of progressing to the quarterfinal as Wojcik tries to trap her in the corner, but illegally, and the referee comes across to separate them. And away they go again in the centre of the ring. And a strong left from O'Rourke again, who's continuing to land the punches and to impress the judges' scorecards.
Aoife O'Rourke is trying desperately to keep this clean, to work straight punches, to create some difference, but it's in Wojcik's interest to get close and slug away.
The energy from both boxers is so evident. The pace here not slowing down with 90 seconds to go in round 3. Wojcik tries to push O'Rourke onto the gloves again, onto the ropes I should say, and the referee comes across to have a word, but still the footwork is bouncy and it's buoyant from O'Rourke as they go into a collision once again, and again the referee immediately comes in to separate them. 1 minute to go in this bout, Steve Bucks.
Just keep it like this, that bit of distance, now the jab, now the cross, don't hold and move back. There's simple directions here. Straight shots, don't hold in close. Don't risk it. That's it. That's another. Oh, I thought that was a point off then, Connor.
The referee moves his hands in almost as if he was pointing to the judges, but he wasn't. He was just inviting the boxers to re-engage. There's been so many moments here where they try to counter-punch, but they're so close to each other, it becomes an immediate tangle, and O'Rourke tries to go to work again, up at the head, down into the body, left, right, left again, the arms of the pole wrapped around her neck, but still the attempt to land punches by Aoife O'Rourke, and again it's a warning, but no point deduction for the pole. 20 seconds to go.
Wojcik's had about 15 warnings for 15 different things. Aoife just needs to stay calm here. She's 16 seconds away from the quarterfinals.
Aoife O'Rourke just backing away from Wojcik, who, with increased desperation, now realises that she needs something extremely special. There's the hammer. 10 seconds. Both fighters landing punches laid on. O'Rourke against the ropes. Great finish here from Wojcik. And there goes the bell. They're all celebrating. The Poles in their corner, hoping that late flurry could be enough to convince the judges. But surely Aoife O'Rourke has done enough over the full course of the bout to go through to the quarterfinals. Wojcik, though, finished like a train.
I think she's done more than enough to win that contest. For her to lose, it's got to go heavily against her in the last round, and I don't think it went heavily against her in the last round. The points might be disputed, and I'll say this now, I'm an Aoife O'Rourke fan. I'm an Irish boxing fan. I love the team. I've loved them for 20 years. The warning to Wojcik in the first round was harsh, Connor.
Right.
It was harsh.
Right.
I'm going to tell you that now. It was harsh.
And it could prove to be very significant. The referee brings both boxers into the centre of the ring as we await the final outcome. Wojcik of Poland, O'Rourke of Ireland, looking for a place in the quarterfinal. Wojcik very visibly celebrating down there. She's got her right fist bobbing up and down in a celebratory motion. She's actually beginning to cry. These are the moments, it means everything. These tiny margins, and Wojcik visibly upset, but trying to show and exude celebration. Here is the result. Poland in red, Ireland in blue. In the red corner, Wojcik has won! Aoife O'Rourke can't believe it! The decision goes against Ireland, and that will all have come down to the extremely strong late finish by Elizabeth of Wojcik, who in the closing seconds of the third round had O'Rourke under pressure on the ropes. Aoife O'Rourke, who had done everything right up until those closing stages, and Wojcik somehow, despite the point deduction in the first round, has turned it around to win the decision of the judges, and it's 3-2 in the Poles' favour, and it's a completely despondent Aoife O'Rourke who makes her way out of the ring. What about that, Steve Bunce?
Well, actually what happened was 2 judges voted for Wojcik, 2 judges voted for Aoife O'Rourke. and the final judge, the final judge was the Canadian judge. It was 28-28, and he or she has the option to vote, and he or she voted for Wojciech. I don't agree with that decision. I thought Aoife O'Rourke was a fairly comfortable winner in that particular contest.
Well, I think we're going to hear a bit more about this, but what scenes here. Wojciech, who is in tears, waiting for the decision, the emotion getting the better of her, and then it's her hand that was raised by the referee. But another Team Ireland boxer exits after one bout. The Olympic dream for Aoife O'Rourke is over, Kelly.
Connor and Bunsey, for now, thank you very much. Look forward to hearing that reaction from Aoife O'Rourke. We'll try and get that to you very shortly. Meanwhile, going for Team Ireland in the women's 200-metre breaststroke semi-final, Mona McSharry, Alistair Bruce-Ball.
Second semi-final, 8 fastest swimmers across the 2 heats will make it through to the final. Mona McSharry has already won a bronze medal for Ireland at these games in the women's 100 metres breaststroke. The gold medal winner at these games, Tatiana Smith, swimming extremely well in this heat, Karen.
Yeah, she is. She is the reigning Olympic champion, but having a head-to-head battle with Kate Douglas, the 22-year-old American who's won medals at the last 3 World Championships, and these two well clear.
Mona McSharry just trying to step on the gas here, the Irish swimmer in lane 6, but well behind the front 2, as Karen says. Tatiana Smith, the South African, Kate Douglas, the American, matching each other stroke for stroke at the moment. It's Tatiana Smith who's just pushing ahead in front, and Kate Douglas gets there in the end, wins the heat. Tatiana Smith in second, and Mona McSharry comes through in 6th. We will wait to see the times and how it matches up against those in the first heat. McSharry 2 minutes 24, 48, and you need to be in the 8 quickest swimmers to make it through to the final. Steve Parry, as we wait for the numbers to come up, McSharry 11th fastest. She won't swim in the final.
Shame for McSharry, but the only thing she'll be thinking about this week is that historic bronze medal that she got in the 100 breaststroke. It was absolutely perfect with Kate Douglas and Tatiana Smith there, all the racing in the middle of the pool. 2:19, world class.
There we go, Kelly. We've got a victory ceremony to come for Katie Ledecky, and then you know what?
It is time for Léon Marchand. In about 15 minutes, he goes in the men's 200 metres breaststroke. He's already won a hugely unexpected gold in the men's 200 metres fly earlier on this evening. He's got 2 finals in one evening. He could end up this evening with 3 gold medals to his name, and there is an individual medley, a 200 metres individual medley to come for him later on this week. This could be an historic games for Léon Marchand. We'll see if he can complete the third part of that at round about 9:30 UK time. We will round up the rest of the day's action on what's been a really successful day for Team GB after the BBC News. For Stuart Clarkson.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
Thank you, Kelly. And let's bring you up to date with something that's been happening in central London over the past hour or so. More than a dozen protesters have been arrested after cans and glass bottles were thrown at police officers. In video footage online, people can be heard chanting "Save Our Kids" and "Rule Britannia." A protest was being held after the stabbings in Southport on Monday, which left 3 girls dead and 8 other children wounded. Rioting also took place in Southport yesterday evening. Police have said more than 50 officers were injured when rioters threw bricks at a local mosque and set fires to cars. 4 men have been arrested. The BBC says its former presenter Hugh Edwards would have been dismissed sooner had he been charged while still employed at the corporation. He's facing a possible jail sentence after he pleaded guilty to 3 charges of making child abuse images. The Culture Secretary has called an urgent meeting with the BBC's Director General over the handling of the case. The Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has said Israel has delivered crushing blows to all its enemies in his first public statement since the political leader of Hamas, Ismail Haniyeh, was assassinated in Tehran. Hezbollah, meanwhile, has confirmed that a senior military commander, Fuad Shakur, has been killed in an Israeli strike in Beirut. Israel said it carried out the strike yesterday in retaliation for an attack in the Israeli-occupied Golan Heights on Saturday that killed 12 children and teenagers.
5 Live Breakfast
with Rachel Burden and Rick Edwards.
I didn't want to just pass by the fact that you've come into work in your slippers this morning.
Yeah. Only realised about half an hour ago.
Exactly.
Just looked down and thought, I'm comfy today. What's going on? Oh, okay. That was some fantastic sporting action.
Not much sleep has been I have to admit. But, this is the Olympic Games. Sleep is for the weak. Let's get on with it. It's all a bit of a blur after last night.
5 Live Breakfast.
Listen weekdays from 6 on BBC Sounds.
The Olympic Games, Paris 2024.
With Kelly Keats.
From BBC Radio 5 Live.
Welcome back to La Défense Arena, where Katie Ledecky is just waiting by the podium for her medal ceremony. She won gold in the women's 1500 metres freestyle, an event that she has absolutely dominated and did again this evening. But the big story here at the pool has been Léon Marchand. He is the home golden boy, but he is about to do and could do something unprecedented in the sport. He's won gold already in the men's 200 metres butterfly. That was a huge upset. He's about to go in 10 minutes or so in the men's 200 metres breaststroke. No athlete has ever won a gold medal in both the 200 metres butterfly and 200 metres breaststroke. And in fact, no swimmer has ever won a podium finish in either in the butterfly and the breaststroke. He is going for something unprecedented. He already won a gold medal before this evening in the men's 400 individual medley. He's got a men's 200 metre individual medley still to come in these games. He is an extraordinary athlete, and it's just been an incredible night already in the pool, Alistair Bruce Pool, as Katie Ledecky is set to take to the podium.
Tell you what, there's some American fans in here, aren't there? Listen to that. Tricolour's flying as well. They're getting very excited because Léon Marchand will be on his way shortly. Do you think we're going to get bored of him at all, Kelly, or not?
I don't think you get bored of excellence, do
No.
you? Not at that level. We haven't got bored of Katie Ledecky yet. And all these tricolours are waving because there's a silver for France as well in this event.
And I also get the sense, and actually Stephen Caron, I'm sure, will be able to tell us better than me because they've been out there and done it. I think he'll be aware of the history that he's chasing, but watching him and the way he is just dealing with the pressure of these games, or what we are calling the pressure of these games, I don't think it's going to bother him at all. I don't think he's thinking about that. It's such a boring sporting cliche. Race by race, swim by swim.
Yeah, and he couldn't have a better coach. Let's not forget, his coach is Bob Bowman. Bob Bowman is the guy that guided Michael Phelps through all of his Olympic success. What I found really interesting on the podium, he seemed to me to be conserving energy. He didn't get too excited with his celebration at the end of the 200 fly. He didn't go too crazy with the crowd as he walked off. And again, when he went to the podium, he looked quite reserved. He was taking it all in. He was clearly very happy. But it's about conserving energy. He's swum a race already against Christoph Malik. He's got to get up and beat the reigning Olympic champion in the 200 breast. He needs all the energy he can get.
You mentioned his coach Bob Bowman there, and Bob has opted to be with the French team here at these championships. He has swimmers on the US team. He's been part of the US team for many years and many Olympic cycles because of Michael Phelps, but he can't be a coach on the US team and work with a swimmer from another country, so he opted to be with Léon for these Olympic Games, be with the French team. And what experience the French swimmers will be gaining from having Bob Bowman with them. But he will, of course, the French team have allowed him to speak to his US swimmers, so it works perfectly.
It does work absolutely perfectly, and it's certainly working perfectly, the whole setup for Léon Marchand. As I said, that he's already got the gold medal in the 400 metres individual medley. He won the gold medal this evening for the men's 200 metres butterfly. He's going into the 200 metres breaststroke. Given how big an upset it was for him to win the butterfly, and we were talking it up, and it's only really after the race, Steve, that you came over and you were like, this is just ridiculous, the fact that he's been able to, in the way that he did as well over the last 25 metres or so, come back into that race and take gold.
Absolutely. Well, first things first on that, the odds on Malik winning that race were 2-7, and bookies don't often get it wrong, do they? So, I mean, he was a huge favourite, Milak, to do that, and that's because he's been so dominant over the last 5 years. But I've had the chance to look back at the tape on the TV monitors next to us at the replay, and there was a very telling look from Milak with 20 metres to go. He looked across to Marchand when he got on his shoulder, and I think that's where the race ended. It was almost like, what on earth is this guy doing next to me? He hasn't felt that in 6 years, and the race was over at that point because Marchand just had the momentum and came through, broke the Olympic record, which I still can't get my head around.
But you swam butterfly, so tell me about the technical difference between swimming fly and swimming breaststroke, because I think to anybody watching, given that, no, hang on, which way round is this? Given that butterfly developed out of breaststroke, people would look at it from the outside who didn't swim at your level and think they're probably the two closest. And don't give me that look, because you're so scathing about the breaststroke.
No, it's not. It's not scathing about the breaststroke. It's actually admiration for breaststrokers, because it's incredibly technical. You know, it's not a natural movement in breaststroke. It's like trying to pat your head and rub your stomach at the same time. You've got to get the arms and legs in perfect timing, whereas butterfly is a more fluid stroke. You're adding dolphin legs to your arms that are already moving.
The reason I'm interrupting you is because you're speaking as an elite swimmer. Anybody who goes down their local pool knows that pretty much everybody can swim breaststroke. Then you maybe front crawl second, and people will have a little go at the backstroke if they're feeling fancy. But people can't do the butterfly. A normal person can't do butterfly, and yet you're saying it's the most intuitive it's the more intuitive of those two strokes.
No, I mean, I don't want Adrian Morehouse or Adam Peaty or Nick Gillingham or Duncan Goodhue to hear me say this, but it is technically the hardest stroke to master. I don't mean going down on a Sunday morning to do a few lengths. You know, if you want to keep your head out the water and you want to leisurely swim, you might also choose to do breaststroke. But to do what Adam Peaty does, and what we're about to see Leon Marchand do and Zach Stubblety-Cook, you know, it's incredibly tough to master. The freestyle, the butterfly and the backstroke, they are more fluid in terms of the approach in doing it, and it's, you know, I'm probably not making sense in how I'm describing
you
them.
are making sense, but I think
together.
It's not people's experience who haven't swum at that level.
Kelly, can I just tidy a couple of things up quickly before we get into the build-up for the Leon Marchand race?
Is this your take on the fly versus breaststroke?
Absolutely not. Ollie Morgan hasn't made it through to the men's 200 metres backstroke final, so our listeners will have been listening to that. He was 12th fastest in the end. You need to be in the top 8. Luke Greenbag, who was disqualified this morning, will be kicking himself even more, because I think, looking at those times across the semi-finals, he would have made the final. And Karen called it on Thomas Chekon. Thomas Chekon, the Italian, who won gold in the 100 metres backstroke here. Lazy finish there, slower time. He's missed out on the final. Katie Ledecky, who's just been celebrating that gold medal tonight. That, by the way, is her 8th gold medal, her 7th in an individual event. But the 8 gold medals equals fellow American Jenny Thompson as the most successful female swimmer in Olympic Games history. And they have, I think, exactly the same record: 8 golds, 3 silver and 1 bronze.
Absolutely dominant from Katie Ledecky, and it's been, you know, she has been dominant, but we're almost kind of used to her brilliance at the moment. Leon Marchand is the sort of man of the moment, and yet he could do something, Karen, absolutely unprecedented this evening.
Yeah, and it's just so cheeky. It's cheeky of him to just say, you know what, I think I'm going to give this a go. Michael Phelps, you know, people will know him as formerly the greatest of all time. The eight Olympic titles at one Games. He toyed with the 200 backstroke, but he decided on a world stage he couldn't do that. So despite being the greatest at the 400 medley, the 200 fly, 200 freestyle and all the relays, he knew the limitations. And this man, Leon Marchand, he doesn't know limits. He's just thinking they just don't exist. Why not have a go? Why not do this? So they had to get the schedule changed slightly. They couldn't change the days of the events, but they pushed them apart so that it was feasible to have enough rest between the races. That's what they've allowed him to do, to have a go at this event. But my goodness, it is just the cheekiness of having a go at it.
2 hours to recover ahead of his 200 metres breaststroke final. What can stop him in this race?
Well, fatigue. You know, and I think emotional as much as physical. He's already won a 400 AM. That's a grueling event. He's done 200 fly. That's a grueling event. You know, physically he's going to be tired. Emotionally, you know, every time we're getting goosebumps, aren't we, sitting in front of this crowd? Imagine how he's feeling. There's history as well. There is a reason. So we have a great stato here on the BBC team. It gives us all the information on the history of the events. And there was a conversation going on before with Andrew Jameson and Becky Allington and all the rest of it, and they were saying, matey, has anybody ever won 2 individual medals in one night? And he's been scrambling for the last 2 hours. He can't find anyone. So not only is the combination of the event bizarre and never been done, no one's physically won 2 gold medals, not even Michael Phelps. He's won a relay and an individual, but he got help from his friends on that.
And he had to go through the rounds of it as well. So yesterday he had semi-finals, heats of both 200s, semi-finals of both 200s, and he wanted to swim in the French 4x200 freestyle relay because he wanted to be on the team with his mates. A third 200 metres in a session, but the coaches said no.
I have an update.
Oh.
The last swimmer to win 2 individual golds in one night was Cornelia Ender in 1976. Before that, do you want to guess? Give me a year.
Someone in 1912.
Fred Lane in 1900, who won the 200 metre free and the 200 metres obstacle course on August the 12th. And that is something I would like to see. It's just a shame the cameras weren't allowed to capture that one.
Sorry, I think you deserve whatever money Murty's earning today. I think you need to be paid it because you found that a lot quicker than he has.
No, Fletch gave it to me. So Fletch is our producer here at the swimming this evening, has got a text from someone who's passed it on to him, and we have to say that it's from SwimSwam who've kind of updated us on that. So we have to give credit where credit is due.
Bring back the obstacle race, please,
and put Leon Marchand in it.
Yeah.
But look, he's going again. He's going 9:31 is when it's meant to go, which is right now. So he's going to go any time now. It looks as though they're just starting to bring the swimmers out from this one. I asked what can beat him. Who can beat him is the question as these swimmers now come out ready for the men's 200 metres breaststroke. Alistair Bruce Paul.
In the 200 metres butterfly, we were looking at lanes 4 and 5, and that was Marchand and Milak. Lanes 4 and 5 in this one is Marchand and Zach Stubblety-Cook, the Australian, who is the Olympic champion, who won that gold medal in Tokyo with a storming last 50 metres. So if there is a bit of tiredness there for Leon Marchand, then Zach Stubblety-Cook might just be able to take advantage. Swimmers being introduced to the crowd. The crowd are absolutely ready to go. This place is humming in here tonight, and the roof will come off when Leon Marchand walks back into the arena, chasing history, trying to win gold in the 200 metres butterfly and 200 metres breaststroke. No one has ever even won medals in that double at a single Olympic Games. He is trying to do it in the space of 2 hours on the same night. Zach Stubblety-Cook, the Australian, is out. He looks cool as a cucumber as he unzips the green and gold jacket, strips it off, bright yellow swim hat on his head. Here he is. Allons-y. Leon Marchand looking slightly more nervous than before. Just a little puff of the cheeks and a deep breath and a here we go.
Do you know what? It could well be dawning on him that he has an opportunity here that no one has had before. Can I just point out, Zach is going to come back so strong. I believe Leon Marchand needs to be clear at that 150 or Cook will run him down.
They've already got through one obstacle, haven't they? Chin Haiyang, the world record holder, hasn't made it through to this final. And the fact he's not in this race has changed it dramatically.
Le jour le plus Léon was the front page of L'Équipe today. This is the moment for the 22-year-old from Toulouse. Allez les Bleus ringing around the arena. Yu Hanagarama of Japan in lane 1. Ipei Watanabe of Japan in lane 2. Dongji Hao in 3, Marchand in 4, Stubblety-Cook, the Olympic champion, in 5, the Dutchman Casper Corbo in 6, Josh Matheny of the USA in 7, Joshua Young swimming for Australia in lane 8. Are we about to witness Olympic history tonight? The French fans are baying for it. This could be a very special couple of minutes. Marchand is almost the last to his blocks, just casually flexing the neck muscles, and Stubblety Cook, the Olympic champion, will not look at him. He's turned his back to him. Marchand's done exactly the same. Right, deep breaths, everyone. Here we go. Whistle blows. Swimmers, I'm nervous too, on their blocks. Men's 200 metres breaststroke final about to get underway. And into the water they go. Léon Marchand, the Frenchman swimming for history, glides gracefully underneath the water, pops out in front. The French fans absolutely love that, and of course we're getting what we were calling the olays on every stroke. It's the allays, Karen, and Marchand swimming beautifully right at the start of this race.
Yeah, lovely start from Marchand. He made Stubblety Cook start look like an age grouper there, left him behind on that first 50.
So looking good for Léon Marchand so far, but let's not forget he was winning a gold medal just 2 hours ago. And other swimmers in here will be fresher. He is out in front at the turn. He's half a body length clear. Challenge from Dong Shi Hao, the Chinese, on his left-hand side. He's well clear of Stubblety Cook, the Olympic champion, on his left. But as we've been saying, Karen, the Australians have a really powerful finish. Over in lane 1, Hanagarama of Japan also going well.
Yeah, the noise of the crowd lifting Léon Marchand on every single stroke. Stubblety Cook's on his hips as they come to the first 100 metres. It's close behind Léon Marchand, but again, he's superb underwater.
Every stroke brings Léon Marchand closer to a historic double. The chants are getting louder inside the arena. Stubblety Cook, the Olympic champion, is picking up the pace. The Frenchman is in front. The stroke looks smooth. He is chasing. An historic achievement, and once again, Karen, it's a majestic swim.
It is, and Marchand is on world record pace at this point in the race. He's turning for 50 metres to go. He is leading, but Stubblety Cook will be coming back at him like Marchand did to Milak in the 200 fly.
Well, a world record tonight in this would be absolutely ridiculous. No Olympian has ever managed what Léon Marchand is about to achieve. He is away and clear. It looks like a victory march at the moment, but look out, because Stubblety Cook is chasing, and he's coming fast, and he's picked up the pace of the stroke, and Marchand knows he's there, but Marchand has enough to hold him off. A couple more strokes will do it. He's done it! Astonishing! The roof comes off the La Défense Arena. What have we just witnessed in here? I'll tell you what we've witnessed as Marchand thumps the water with his right fist. We have witnessed Olympic history that has never been done before. That double, no man or woman has ever won a medal in both of those events at the same games. Léon Marchand has ripped up the history books, and he's won gold in both in the space of 2 hours. The boy is superhuman. That was absolutely stunning.
And Olympic records in both races as well. That was extraordinary. And now he can celebrate. Now he can use any tiny bit of energy he's got left to enjoy. What a special moment this is.
Marchand leaps out of the water, both arms aloft, and Steve Parry, he looked around. All the other swimmers are beaten and bedraggled and in the pool. He looks around and he points down the far end of the pool, and everyone in here, everyone of every nation is dancing and celebrating. We have seen something quite incredible tonight.
It's like a football match, the way people are celebrating. It's absolutely fantastic. His arms are aloft in the air now, and he's absolutely milking it with the crowd, and rightly so. I can't believe he's taken on two specialists, and not ordinary specialists as well. The greatest butterflyer that has ever lived in terms of Christoph Malik. Put him aside, and Zach Stubblety Cook, that's won everything there is to win in the sport on breaststroke, beats him too. It's an unbelievable swim, and I feel lucky to be here tonight.
Lovely, lovely moment. Zach Stubblety Cook has lost his Olympic crown, but he appreciates the greatness, and he walked over to Marchand and he gave him a hug, and Marchand is chuckling and punching the air in delight. And he's not done yet at these games, Karen.
No, he's not. He's got a 200 medley still to come. But Zach Stubblety-Cook, after becoming Olympic, World, Commonwealth champion, world record in 12 months, said he lost his love of the sport. But surely a night like this, even with a silver medal, he's got to fall back in love with it.
Kelly, we were so excited, weren't we, all of us, before we came to the arena tonight. And sometimes you come to events like this and they don't live up to the hype. And we were excited about the chance of Marchand potentially winning a medal in each event of any colour. He's won gold. The first swim astonishing, where he takes down Milak over the last 15 metres or so. And then that was just joyous to watch, and no one wants to leave.
If you're listening now, you will remember this. You will remember the moment that Olympic history was made by Leon Marchand. He's won the men's 200 metres butterfly. He's won the men's 200 metres breaststroke. He's done it in the space of 2 hours. It's his second and third gold medals of this Olympics. There is potentially another one still to come. And he's done it tonight in the space of 2 hours with 2 Olympic records. This is a 22-year-old phenomenon. This is an absolute superstar of the sport, and this is a name we will remember, and this is a moment you will remember in decades to come. This is special.
It was a perfect night, wasn't it? Absolutely perfect night for Leon Marchand. And, you know, people have not been achieving personal best times in here. Marchand's turned up, he's ripped up the books, and he's delivered, as Karen said, 2 Olympic records tonight. I can't believe he has beaten those specialists on those disciplines on the same night. I wouldn't have believed it was possible to beat them 3 days apart, never mind 2 hours apart. And we really have seen not the emergence, but this guy blistering onto the scene and just grabbing this sport. And do you know what, Kelly? You can just give him that 200 medley now. I mean, it's an Olympic record and it's a 200 medley title. No one's beaten him there.
I feel bad because I've completely forgotten the silver and bronze medalists. Stubblety-Cook, the Olympic champion, with silver, and Casper Corbo, the Dutchman, with bronze. And I'm not sure I've got the energy left for the men's 100-metre freestyle final.
We've got the blue ribbon event
this
coming
is the big
out.
event,
How
this.
often does this race pale into insignificance? They're already coming out for the men's 100-metre free. Everybody is, you're right, they're giddy, but everybody is stunned. They've come in here knowing what to expect, and particularly, as you said, those who've been following the French media, been following reading the French newspapers, they are absolutely aware of what was on the line here. I'm not sure, outside of the swimming world, Karen, that people before this moment will have realised just how extraordinary this is.
No, maybe not, because it's difficult to understand, isn't it? It's swimming, it's a 200 metres. It's hard for people to understand how people can specialise in such a way. And when someone does something like that, it makes it even harder to understand how it can be special, because he just did it. But there's not many people in this building, maybe Mr. and Mrs. Stubblety-Cook, who weren't willing Leon Marchand on to do that. He transcends his nationality.
Karen, very quickly, let's just tell our listeners, you gave me a great line earlier on tonight. The men's 100 metres freestyle final is about to get underway. The Games was last hosted in Paris 100 years ago in 1924. Who won this event 100 years ago?
Tarzan won it. Johnny Weissmuller.
Johnny Weissmuller. What a line. So these guys, 100 years on, trying to match the feats of Tarzan. We have seen superhuman feats in the pool tonight from Leon Marchand. And here we go. One last event tonight. Chris Giuliano, the American, in lane 1. David Popovic, the Romanian, in 2. Nandor Nemeth of Hungary in 3. Pan Zhan Li of China, super fast swimmer, in 4. Kyle Chalmers, great character, the Australian, in lane 5. Maxime Grousset, another Frenchman, going for a medal tonight, in 6. Jack Alexi, the American, in 7. Joshua Salko of Germany in 8. 2 lengths of the pool. Men's 100 metres freestyle is underway. Great leap forward by the Chinese teenager Pan Zhan Li. And these 8 swimmers go flying away to our right-hand side. This could be an epic too, Karen.
Yeah, Maxime Grousset of France got a great start. Pan Janley going well. Kyle Chalmers can't write him off. He loves a dirty race like this.
Chris Giuliano was going well over in lane 1. At the turn, let's see who's got it at the moment. The splits haven't come up just yet. It looked like it was Pan Janley to me. Pan Janley has the lead at the moment. All of them, I was going to say thrashing, it's not thrashing. Swimming at high speed. Away to our left-hand side. Pan Janley for China has a clear lead at the moment. Coming up the Hungarian, Nandor Nemeth on his right. They're not going to catch him, you know. Pan Janley is going to win it by a distance for China. Wow. And he takes the gold medal. It's a world record time to finish an incredible night in the pool in Paris. Kyle Chalmers, the Australian, takes silver. David Popovic, the Romanian, takes bronze. And Pan Janley watches the brilliance of Léon Marchand, steps out and says, by the way, everyone, before you go, how about that? A world record in the 100 metres freestyle to win the gold medal. All of it blows your mind.
He didn't just break the world record, he knocked 0.4 of a second off that 100 metres world record. Pan Janley, he rattled it last year at the Asian Games. He broke it earlier this year. He looked great in the relay. He destroyed the field in that race.
I feel like I've gone to sleep and I'm in fantasy swimming heaven. This is absolutely ridiculous. How does somebody go 46.4 on 100 free? He's almost taken half a second off the 100 free. He was half a body length ahead of the fastest male swimmers in the world. I honestly think I'm going to wake up in a minute and go to day 5 of the swimming down at the Lille de France Arena.
This is day 5 of the swimming.
That's what I mean. I feel like I'm
sorry.
going to wake up and go to the actual one. I feel like I'm dreaming. You know, you've had Katie Ledecky, who's become the most decorated female athlete in history in the pool. You've had Sarah Sjostrom, that should have retired 5 years ago, win the 100 free. Then you've had Léon Marchand winning the 200 breast, the 200 fly, and Pan going 46.4. What's going on?
What a night at the pool. I mean, that just about puts it into context with you. And there is genuinely an air of, yes, jubilation, but it's a stunned jubilation. I think people's heads are spinning in here.
Do you know what I'm really enjoying, Kelly? And you often get this at the Olympic Games. People turn up in their national colours and they come to support their athletes. But when they see greatness like that, everyone is celebrating their success. I funnily enough, I go back to Sydney 2000 as a spectator and was in the stadium on Magic Monday, the night Kathy Freeman won the gold. Haile Gebrselassie won an incredible race that night. Michael Johnson won gold that night. I think Jonathan Edwards did as well. And I was sitting with a whole row of people, with Ethiopians, Americans, people of all sorts of different nationalities, plenty of Australians, and we were all sort of hugging each other and celebrating each other's successes. That is what it has been like in here tonight.
Steve Parry just keeps looking at the time and muttering it to himself.
Yeah, I can't believe. Well, where do we start? I mean, the 100 free is absolutely ridiculous. But then I saw Léon Marchand's time. So let's just think about this for a sec. Do we remember what time the 100 breast was won by? The guy that beat Adam Peaty. It was 59 seconds, wasn't it? So the fastest breaststrokers are going 59 seconds on the 100. Léon Marchand, on the way out to the 200, 1 second slower, 60. He would have almost made the final of the 100 breast on his way out on the 200.
So I have a question. Did they dig the pool a bit deeper last night?
Yeah,
Found an extra metre somewhere?
Have they shortened it by a trainer length? Steve, we should put that into context. So, Steve, you've been saying from pretty much the first morning, because the times weren't really there, it's taken a little while to come to life, this meet, and you were saying there have been grumblings that maybe this is a slow pool, and that was because it's not illegally shallow, but it is shallower than the recommended depth. And some of the coaches, there was a little bit of grumbling that when they had paced it out several times, that it was a little bit longer than perhaps they had expected, and that was affecting the times as well. And for those reasons, they said, we think this might be a slow pool. Well, 2 Olympic records and a world record tonight might say, not that slow.
But you know what the scary thing is?
Could have been quicker.
It might be a slow. It might. I believe it is a slow pool. And Pan's just gone 46 seconds, 0.4, and broke the world record by nearly half a second. And Léon Marchand has broken 2 Olympic records. Like if it is a quick pool, if Adam Peaty was swimming 56 seconds and the rest of the 100 breaststrokers were, it boggles the mind what they could do. Do you know, this has been one of the best nights of swimming that I have ever been at.
By far.
And I've been to a lot. And I think tonight, does it rival? I mean, Michael Phelps, when he went to Beijing, he won 8 gold medals in 7 world records, and the one that he didn't get a world record on, he got an Olympic Games record. That was the greatest display, and he is undoubtedly the GOAT. But on individual performances, Leon Marchand is better.
So Phelps the GOAT, Marchand at the moment the kid.
I like what you've done there.
Yeah,
he's terrible.
But I do like it though, and it is that look, he's coming out now, Leon Marchand, ahead of this medal ceremony, and it is an absolutely adoring crowd, the majority of which have stayed inside La Défense Arena to make sure that they're there for his coronation. There is still another gold medal to come from him potentially. Steve Parry thinks it's absolutely nailed on, the 200 metres individual medley, not just nailed on in terms of a gold medal, but you think nailed on in terms of an Olympic record.
Just give him both golds now. Save the podium presentation.
Don't do that. Wait, because we want to see it happen.
Yeah, it's ominous though for the likes of Duncan Scott. So Duncan Scott's in fine form. He did amazing time last night to bring home that 4x2. He's got to take on Leon Marchand, you know, and it's that will be a procession. His confidence is sky high. He's physically in the best form of his life. He's breaking all these records. I dread to think what time he's actually going to go though, Karen.
He's got to start that charge tomorrow. The 200 medley starts tomorrow morning.
Yeah,
Wowza.
and then the final is around about 7:45 UK time on the 2nd of August. What day is the 2nd of August? Is that Friday? Right, okay. So the 2nd of August, Friday evening, round about 7:45 UK time. That's when Leon Marchand will be back in the pool. We assume that he's going to get through the semi-final for the 200 metres individual medley, and that could make it 4 individual golds. If he does that, Michael Phelps has done 8 gold medals when he's been involved in team medleys. If he does that, does it rival that Games for Michael Phelps?
Absolutely, and only because of the reason that we've been talking about all night. It's the difference in the events that he's doing. Phelps at the Olympics in Beijing, 100 fly, 200 fly, 200 AM, 400 AM, 200 free, events that we've seen multi-eventers do before. This is a brain scrambler, breaststroke and butterfly in one night. It absolutely, with 4 gold medals, rivals it.
And he's ready for his medal, Ali.
He is. There he is again, standing in the white tracksuit with the tricolours flying behind him, waiting for the announcement. The big smile beams out again, Leon Marchand. What a night we will never forget, a night he will never, ever forget. He stunned the swimming world this evening. The Olympics have been going, got to do my maths now, 128 years. I know those 2 events haven't always been on the card in every single Olympics, but that's never been done before. We've seen something for the very first time tonight. He should be rightly, incredibly proud of himself. Another gold medal round his neck, looking fresh as a daisy and ready to go. Great set of gnashes as well. He's got a good smile, young Leon Marchand, and he's giggling away to himself, and those French fans behind him are bouncing up and down. And wait for this, another rousing rendition of the French national anthem, La Marseillaise. pride in a packed, patriotic Parisian arena. An incredible night of swimming, and particularly from that man, Léon Marchand, who stands on the top of the podium once again. 3 gold medals at these games, and as you say, Kelly, tomorrow morning he'll get up, he'll bounce out of bed and think, what am I going to do today? I'm going to try and win another gold medal.
Do you know, he's just got the loveliest smile. He just absolutely lights up with it. And even when they're singing the national anthem, when they get to that kind of last rousing bit, his face just twitches and he lights up again and he starts to grin. And they're going to have to change the spelling from Marchand to Marchand, and they get his full name involved in that Marseillaise, because this is his Olympics. They give them the medal, which have got their little bit of the Eiffel Tower in, and they give them their diploma, which has got, a certificate for the top 8 finishes in any discipline in these Olympics, and it's also got a map of Paris. He's going to have enough to build a mini Eiffel Tower, and he's going to have enough to paper his downstairs toilet.
Do you know? I'm struggling to process what we've seen tonight, and I think over the next couple of hours, if we'd have just been treated to one of those events tonight, it would have been a great night of swimming for sure. But I got to tell you, you were with us actually the other night. We went over to one of the sponsors' tents, and I got chatting to the guys.
Doesn't sound like me.
It doesn't sound like you, no. I mean, you've got to get him in, haven't you? And I was chatting to one of his sponsors, and he said, we wanted to lock Léon down prior to the Olympics on a 5-year deal, and we tried to chuck a load of money at him to get him to sign. But he said, no, do you know what? I'll just wait till after the games and see how it goes. And I'm giggling to myself because I can't imagine that conversation at the end of this games. I mean, you've got to double it, haven't you?
Wow. When he said that, Bob Bowman said to him, I don't think you should do this. Can you imagine in like a few weeks' time when he goes to his coach and says, Bob, I've got an idea. What on earth is it going to be?
Who knows what is next for Léon Marchand? What a day it's been. The 22-year-old French swimmer has created Olympic history. Elsewhere today, Team GB won 2 golds, 1 silver and 2 bronze medal. And then tomorrow, 2-time Olympic champion Helen Glover goes for gold in the women's 4s rowing. That's at 9:54 a.m. Make sure you're tuned in for 5 to 10 tomorrow morning. Andy Murray and Dan Evans, part of an extraordinary night last night that seems like it was weeks ago, when we had action in the pool, in the relay. We had action with Andy Murray and Dan Evans, who took it right down to the wire. They're through to the quarterfinals in the men's doubles. They face Taylor Fritz and Tommy Paul. That's tomorrow afternoon sometime. That is flexible. It might well get pushed back and end up crossing over into the swimming as well. Also, the golf gets underway at Le Golf National. That was the venue for the 2008 Ryder Cup. Representing Team GB in the men's tournament will be Tommy Fleetwood and Matt Fitzpatrick. And Matt Fitzpatrick has been speaking to Sonia McLaughlin.
Welcome, Matt Fitzpatrick, to the Olympics. What are your first impressions?
Yeah, it's awesome. Super exciting. Went to the Team GB house the other day when we arrived, picked up our credentials, and yeah, just an incredible setup really. I'd like to get into the Olympic Village before we leave and have a look around and try and pick up another few events and just take it all in.
Here you are, sat here in a very nice smart white polo shirt that has got the Union flag on your sleeve and a sort of elaborate design on the back. I wonder what it means to you to be representing Great Britain.
Yeah, it means a lot. It means a lot. I think I've said a few times already in interviews, I probably didn't realise how much it does mean, I think, until I got here. You receive your kit, you put it on, you got the Great British logo on there, and you just feel part of something bigger, so it's pretty special.
Yeah. Have you got a golf bag that's got a Union flag on the side of it as well? I met you, you're nodding. I remember Justin Rose was very excited when he got his in Rio, and there were pictures of it all over social media. I'm assuming you have the same.
I do, I do. It's a very good looking golf bag actually, yeah. So it's me and Billy are excited to use it this week and hopefully keep it nice and light for him so he's not carrying too much.
Yeah. And so tell me, where are you staying? What is the setup? Because you guys are used to, 5-star lifestyle. I imagine you travel around in private jets and all that kind of jazz, don't you? So where are you staying? What's the setup for the golfers here?
We're staying in a hotel that's nearby. my manager booked it, so she booked it a while ago. It's a beautiful hotel in Versailles. It's 20 minutes from the golf course. From that aspect, it feels like a normal week for me, normal tournament week. Once you get to the golf course, it's a little bit different. Obviously, the different feel for it, and I'm looking forward to seeing how the crowds are tomorrow as well.
Yeah, and what you've won a major, so that's everything to a golfer, the majors. Where does an Olympic gold potentially sit in that hierarchy of what you could win?
Yeah, I think it probably just underneath it, really. I've said a lot that majors are number one. There's no doubt about that in a golfer's world, and I think outside of that, you've got a few very big events on the PGA Tour and the European Tour that you target at the start of each calendar year, but when there's an Olympics on, it sort of goes right in with them, just below a major. So it definitely means a lot if you can, obviously win a gold.
Have you spoken to Justin Rose about his experience in Rio, maybe, and what he took from that?
A good while ago now. Yeah, a good while ago. I'm pretty sure that he wanted to be back here again this year. He's been playing so well lately, so it's a shame that he's not here as well with me and Tommy, but we're both looking forward to the week. So.
And the golf course itself, is it one that you think might suit your game? I'm just thinking, is there a chance we might see Matt Fitzpatrick, on that Olympic podium?
Let's hope so. I mean, it's a golf course I enjoy playing. I think it's a really good test. It really is. It's I think that's probably the best thing I can say. It's just a real demanding golf course, and whoever does win the medals come Sunday, I would happily say that they'll have deserved them. Yeah.
I have to confess that we bumped into... I didn't bump, I said, I had to kind of go, that's Matt Fitzpatrick. And I was curious as to what an elite golfer ate before he started around at the Olympics. Come on, confess, what did you go for?
Yeah, just a pizza, it's a pizza. He got a carb load, that's what I've been told. So, just pizza the night before. We like to mix it up. Yeah, we like to mix it up.
You're keeping it real. I like that. Go well. It's a great privilege to meet you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I really fancy a pizza now. Can't wait for the golf to get underway. Thank you very much to Karen Pickering, Steve Parry and Alistair Bruceborn. Thank you for joining us as we heard Olympic history being made. We go again tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. for 5 Live Olympics. Now, though, it's time for the BBC News with Stuart Clarkson.